Welcome to Odd Boys. My name is Nathan Barnett, former gravedigger from spooky old New England, and this is my co-host, Tinfoil Tom.
It's right. Future body parts of America. What parts? I don't know. Some of them.
All of them. Well, maybe some part. Are you saying some parts of you will be missing when you're dead? Is that what you're
You
saying?
be you be the judge. Well, we actually have a story tonight about
About your
bodies
body
going missing.
parts?
So this will eventually segue into a story.
Oh,
Does anybody
wow.
does anybody want to buy any body parts? I'll sell them really cheap. I'm not using them.
Hey, if you act now, Black December sale going all month. If you become a member on Ko-Fi or on YouTube memberships, you will get a part of Tom's flesh.
That's right. Nobody knows what part, but you'll get something. And
You just don't know what you don't know what package, what envelope or package. Whenever you get mail, some of Tom's skin will be in there somewhere, and you won't know what one. So
well,
act
I ship
now.
I ship USPS priority mail. You'll get those parts in 2 to 3 days. Might be a little
Mhm.
longer
He's got a
with the
lot of
holidays
extra
coming up.
stuff that he doesn't use anymore. Brain,
Yeah. Yep. Brain. Yeah. Brain.
wiener.
No. 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 Well. Well.
Well, married
Well.
life.
And we've got producer Jamie. For
Oh
anybody who's
yeah.
wondering, who's wondering who's running the show, we have producer Jamie out. Jamie, are you available to say
Oh,
hello to the?
he's
He's
dreaming
asleep.
of Christmas. He's dreaming of Santa Claus coming to town.
I don't know what Jamie's. I mean, he's probably dreaming of his freedom when we're going to release him from
Never.
being
Every
being the producer
Friday,
of the
he's
show.
here, locked with us. Joe Rogan, you're not the only one with a Jamie. We're the new conspiracy theorists with a Jamie, a British
Mhm,
one on top of
mhm.
that. So a fancier one, I would say.
And we haven't, and unlike Joe Rogan, we haven't gone down uh the right wing grift rabbit hole.
hmm But it seems like he's trying to come out of that now. He's trying to be like more regular, like middle of the road. He did that during the presidency because it like benefited him. And now he's like, oh God, I don't know if I should be like aligned with that because this guy's a psychopath. Anyway, I still watch some of his stuff, so I do catch things he says here and there because I like the UFO stuff and all that kind of stuff when he has people on that I want to hear what they have to say. It just
Yeah.
happens to be on his show. But yeah, I feel
I
like he's, selectively taking a stance on things now.
I mean, I think the thing with Joe Rogan, which I believe has been talked about not to ad nauseum, but I've heard multiple people talk about this, is whoever he has on the show is who he agrees with. So he arbitrarily agree he agrees with different philosophies depending on who he has on the show. So
Yeah.
he's a bit of a chameleon where I don't really think he stands for anything really other than being I mean I guess he believes in mixed martial arts, but that's
Yeah.
about it.
That and he does have a curiosity for the strange, but I think most people do. So
Even that he doesn't really
whatever.
cover that stuff that often. Like not as often as
Yeah.
I
Not
would,
as much
but
as
then
he
again,
used to.
no. Well, but I think the thing with Rogan as well is that he's been doing his podcast for what, like 15 years,
Mm.
and he has what, like 4,000 episodes of that show. I think at this point this is like total side quest for him,
Yeah.
and he has
It's
all
an
that
easy
Spotify
job. It's
money.
like on his property. He just like wakes up, walks in that room, walks into his. I think he records in a
A
Airstream
trailer, yeah.
trailer. So
Yeah, exactly. I think it's an easy
whatever.
it's an easy gig for him. I think he's incredibly wealthy. He's incredibly insulated. I don't think that he's truly all the way right wing, but I think he's definitely far. I think he's leaning to the right, like heavily leaning to the right.
Mm.
And I think a lot of rich people lean that way because it
Yeah,
benefits
unfortunately.
them.
I learned a while ago that The Rock was Republican. I was like, what? Really? He seemed like such a like a man of the people.
I
For
mean,
the people's
so's
elbow and all that.
so's Arnold. Like Arnold is a
But
registered
Arnold's
Republican too.
like, I get, yeah, maybe The Rock was too, but Arnold's like that old Republican that was not. Republicans are a different thing now. I don't mean to get into politics, but um, Arnold is such a cool, smart, like fair, even logical guy. Even though he's
Yeah.
a Republican, he's not all about just rich people. like he was like the true essence of what Republican was, and I'm sure Democrat Party has changed as well, and both aren't what they used to be. But I feel like Republican has changed a lot because of Trump. Anyway, I don't think we should talk about that because it's not very entertaining for me.
Well,
But
that's gonna
I was
be well,
gonna say
that's gonna be our new show, Odd Politics. We're gonna have
on politics, yeah.
listen, everybody, we do have a Ko-Fi if you'd like to support the show. We also have a you could do YouTube memberships, you could do super chats. Jamie, Nathan, and I split that 3 ways. It helps keep the shows going. If you wanna see more Odd Boys, please consider a contribution to the show to keep us going. But the more we get, the more shows we can add to the programming. So we can have Odd Drama, Odd
Nope,
Politics, Odd
nope,
Fashion,
nope, won't happen. Only
Odd
strange, only strange. Oh my gosh, Kyrie, thank you for eight
See?
months.
You see, as soon as you say the words odd politics, odd drama, odd
No,
fashion, people start supporting the show.
that's not why.
Odd art. I would love to have odd film.
I would do that.
Thank you,
Odd
Kyrie.
film. Talking about odd films and TV shows and just entertainment, commercials and all kinds of stuff like that. I would love to talk about that. Odd cinema.
Odd cinema. Odd
That'd be
odd
cool.
oddball
Odd
cinema.
entertainment or something.
Odd
Uh,
entertainment,
speaking of oddballs, did you hear
odd wrestling.
Spaceballs 2 is being made?
That's old news. I heard
Oh.
that was talked about a long time ago. But yes, I
And
did see that. It does look good.
how, how many Gremlins movies are there? One or two?
There's 2.
Okay, because there's a third one being made right now.
Have you not seen Gremlins 2?
No, I sleep on Gremlins sheets almost every night because Katie has Gremlins sheets and she likes Gremlins. But I watched Gremlins 1 when I was little. Didn't really care for it. I'm not a Gremlins fan. I gotta say the movies are like all right, whatever.
Wow.
I
You
don't
don't
know.
like
A lot of
Gremlins?
those '80s
It's like
like monster spooky movies are just kind of like not my thing. I don't like The Fly.
New
I
tip
don't
from
like
Cy Deathful.
what?
Psy.
Psy just did a tip.
Thank
What
you
just
for the
happened?
donation. Direct donation from Psy. Thank you.
Psy, thank you very much for that direct donation over on Ko-Fi. That's very nice of you. Thank you, Psy. Thank you. Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Keeping the show going.
That is the
Back to wrap up what we're saying with Joe Rogan. I was gonna say I wanted to say who cares about Joe Rogan. What we need to be talking about is the real show that we want to live up to, which is Coast to Coast. That is a show that destroys anything Joe Rogan has
but
done.
not but not new Coast to Coast. I don't
Any
really
Coast to Coast, I would prefer over Joe Rogan.
I honestly don't care for George Norrie, who is the so and I've talked about this on previous
Yeah, Art Bell
episodes.
was the one and only.
Well, Art Bell was a true believer in the supernatural and paranormal. So you had Art Bell who started Coast to Coast AM, and it was one of the biggest radio shows ever. I think it had like 10 million listeners at its peak, maybe more. And
Hmm.
you had Art Bell, who was a true believer in the paranormal and the supernatural, and he delivered everything through that lens. And he even if it did get political, he didn't I don't think that he ever really aligned himself with either political party. I think he was like a true mystery conspiracy guy. But with George Norrie, who is the new host, George Norrie definitely leans pretty far to the right. And he's very religious, or he's become very religious. And the show itself, it's just not the same thing. And
Yeah.
something that I've said previously is that when George or when Art Bell was getting ready to retire or he needed a fill in, there were two people who used to fill in. It was George Norrie and Whitley Strieber. Whitley Strieber was a UFO abductee. I think that Whitley Strieber would have
Oh,
been I think he would have been a better replacement host for Art Bell than George Norrie. And I don't know exactly why George Norrie was chosen over Strieber, but have you ever heard of Whitley Strieber? He's a UFO
no, I
abductee.
haven't.
He wrote the book Communion, which is there was the Christopher Walken film that was
Oh
made
yeah, yeah, I know
based on his
that.
experiences. Whitley Strieber is huge in the UFO community, and he was a frequent fill-in host for Art Bell, and along with George Norrie. But
That's
Whitley
cool.
Strieber was much closer, I think, to the vibe of Art Bell because Strieber was coming from the true believer standpoint, and I think he was a much more interesting host.
Hmm. I didn't know of that guy.
Yeah, he's still. I believe he's still alive as well. But yeah, Whitley Strieber, Communion, starring Christopher Walken, was in the movie.
Great actor. Weirdest one of the weirdest actors in the
Hmm
world.
hmm
By the way, I should point out I'm in a new top secret location. I don't know if you guys can tell. I've moved to a cabin in the woods to hide all my secrets. Still setting up this cabin, just finished
You can
building it.
you can
So
still see
here I
that you can
am.
still see that drywall
No, I did that
beneath
myself. I only had enough for one panel of drywall.
I think you gotta get
I, I ran out
some
of
more wood
logs.
paneling there. Oh.
These are timbers. I chopped them with an axe.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. It does it does look good. It looks very
It's
are
literally
you
just thrown together. It'll look a lot better this next week. I guess you got the show will see it. Odd Boys audience will see it.
I
But
do
yeah,
I do like the vibe, and I think even if you leave your current undisclosed location at some point, this seems like an easily replicatable set.
I
So
can
I think
build a
that
new
that's kind of
cabin anywhere. I have the axe still, and I can find some trees. I'm sure.
mhm. Yeah, it looks
So
good.
yeah, thank you,
Well,
thank you.
hello everybody in the chat. We should say hello before we get into the show itself. Hello again, Kyrie. Thank you again for that membership. Hello, Sai. Thank you for that direct donation. Hello, Aladdin, Dragon Buddy, Frax,
Dan,
everybody else. Are you
hello
ready to
Dan.
talk about the odd and the unusual and the supernatural,
Always.
everybody?
Yeah, I hope you all
So,
are. That's why you're here, I'm assuming. And by the way, please
I hope they
watch the
are.
shorts. The shorts are doing really well, and we're getting a good amount of new subscribers from the shorts. Producer Jamie is really killing it with these shorts. Tom and Jamie have been handling the shorts lately, and they're doing a very good job. And we're bringing in new people. So if you haven't been watching, please do watch the shorts. It'll boost the numbers a little more and suggest the shorts to new people and bring in new people. That's how we get people to watch this live show. So watch the long form videos too if you're able to, and if you haven't seen one of some of the old episodes, the long form videos on the segments we've done in the show, or it's a good way to catch up on things you might have missed.
So I think to start off, we should take Jamie's suggestion. Jamie suggested that we go from this big news in entertainment uh right into Stranger Things, which
Okay,
is probably I think now we've warmed up the chat. So I'll take it, then I'll segue in, and then you can take the next stories.
cool, cool.
So Nathan, did you hear that Netflix has acquired Warner Brothers and HBO
New
Max
tip
for
from Dragon Buddy.
what?
Oh, Dragon Buddy, thank you for the tip. Direct
Dragon Buddy.
donation.
Thank you very much. I'm Mary Crimbo. This is our before we get into the story. This is our the goal going on right now. I put a goal in there. It's a nice odd holiday bonus for the boys. We would each get a crisp Benjamin Franklin. So if you would like to give us a nice little Christmas bonus, maybe we could go
What's the Benjamin Franklin? $5?
$100.
Oh,
So
wow.
we would each get $100 out of this goal. We're
So
10% of the way to that goal. So thank you very much, Dragon Buddy and Sai, for
wow.
those direct donations.
Producer Jamie can keep producing. Tinfoil Tom can buy more tinfoil, and Nathan can
We,
buy more
we won't
timbers for the log cabin.
we won't get fired.
Yeah, we want to
So
fire ourselves. Thank you for anyone who
exactly.
donates direct. Ko-Fi is the way
New
to do
tip
direct.
from
Oh my god.
Junipero.
Well,
There's another one.
Just did it. Junipero. Thank you. Thank you.
Happy Friday. What's up to 12%? What's going on here?
Thank you, everyone.
We might know
the season.
we might be able to get well, we won't be like Bob Cratchit. We'll be able to get the goose. We'll be able
Everyone,
to get
this is you, everyone. I kissed your blue wieners. Thank you for donating.
Please don't kiss the chat's wieners.
Hey, it's just hospitality, Tom.
You're gonna
Learn
get
a thing or
canceled.
two.
You're gonna get canceled.
No.
Stop.
No.
Don't get
love
canceled.
kissing everyone's blue wieners. It's gentle. It's not like gross.
That certainly won't become a blurb at any point.
Nope.
As I say
yeah,
this,
blurps. I forgot about blurps.
right? As I say this, Ska is in the chat. That certainly won't become a blurb at any point.
Thank you for donating.
Thank you,
are
everybody.
keeping the show going. Tom, you want to do that over again?
Yes. So big, gigantic news and entertainment, which I don't even know if this deal is going to go through exactly. But Netflix has acquired HBO Max. Oh my God, what is happening?
You're never going to do this way because you're going to get rich instead. Thank Thank you,
We're never going
Eshin.
to be able to do this story. We're going to, this is, you know what's going to happen, everybody? If you keep this up, if you keep donating like this, Nathan's going to be forced to turn into Money Man again. And we don't
Look at
need to see,
Money Man. Oh my god, I remember that stream.
no,
That was psychotic. The Money Man stream from 2021.
we
Eshin,
don't.
this is your big blue wiener. Thank you.
If somebody is a blue wiener, they should probably consult a doctor. It means
Yeah,
it's going to,
they need to open the floodgates.
Money Man. No, see, I mentioned Money Man and everybody well, stop donating. Stop it. Stop. Thank you, Eshin. That's the
That was
last
one of the
one.
most fun streams I've ever done. I remember that was just like a
It's because you just
full-on
kept saying,
improv crazy
it's
thing.
because you just kept saying money, 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 and they just
Yeah,
kept giving,
I was
kept
crunching
making
the
money.
numbers all night, and people just kept donating. I was crunching, and I had like graphs and gifs of money and monetization and like stocks all over the screen. That stream was incredible. I would say that was art, genuinely. I don't know if that exists
It was.
anywhere. Maybe Kyrie could find that or somebody.
It was
That
pure.
was crazy.
It was pure, pure art. Okay, we can get into this real story. We can get this the real
Yeah,
story.
yeah.
Okay, Netflix has agreed to acquire HBO Max and Warner Brothers for $82.7 billion. Did you hear about this?
I didn't. And I want to say that sounds crazy because last I heard about Netflix was they've never turned a profit.
I don't think that that's
How are they
true.
buying the
I think they
biggest
have.
companies ever? By maybe I
I
guess they have, but they always said that they operate at a loss because they
I
spend so much
see.
on their shows.
Yeah, but like I mean, I think that's Hollywood math though, where they're
Yeah.
like they're quote unquote operating at a loss, but really
If
it's
it's not
like
$1 trillion profit, then it's not a profit according to them.
right, but there's also like like so there's a very famous, and I'm just remembering this off the top of my head, so like don't quote me on this if I'm wrong, but the most famous example that I can think of like Hollywood, they call it Hollywood accounting. So the most famous example of that that I can remember is Peter Jackson ended up suing what I was it New Line Cinema, New Line Pictures that made Lord of the Rings, but Peter Jackson ended up suing the company that made Lord of the Rings because he was owed a percentage share of the profit. And New Line, or I think it was New Line or Miramax, I think it was New Line. New Line told him that the movie was unprofitable. So like his percentage points that he was owed in the movie, they claimed that the movie made a loss, so they didn't have to pay him the money that they owed him. So he had to take them to court because that was one of the biggest selling movies of all time. But
Mm,
according to their accounting, they lost money on the movie, so they didn't have to give Peter Jackson that $100 million or whatever. Because hey, guess what? We lost money, but it's because it's like the way that Hollywood moves money. And like, I mean, you work in
mhm,
Hollywood, so you're probably vaguely aware of this. It's like one company moves money to another company, but it's all a shell game. They own the other company.
Yeah, and
So
you
one
make
company,
every production also. And if you probably know this, but
you just move it around.
every time there's a shoot, like say they're shooting a new show, season 1 of John Cena's new TV show,
Uh-huh.
you make a new production company that only exists during that show, and then you cancel that production company so that the people no one could ever get sued because you can't sue that company. It doesn't exist anymore. That's like a
Right.
thing that a lot of
It
productions do, and commercials
it's
too, even
crazy.
commercials.
But like Peter
But yeah.
Jackson took them to court, and the judge was like, yes, obviously, like they owe you, like they settled out of court for however they probably gave him the $100 million. They settled
Mm,
out of court. But it was the same thing with Blair Witch. Blair Witch was another movie that the actors of that film, this is like another very famous example of Hollywood accounting. The people that made Blair Witch, the actors who made Blair Witch, I think that they each
mhm.
get paid like $1,000. It was a 2 week
They got
shoot.
ripped off big time.
They each got paid like $1,000 to do that, to do it. And
Mhm.
most of that movie was improv. So they were also acting as writers. They
They're
would go to
writing,
each,
directing, they're doing everything.
right. They would go to each, basically they had a GPS, and they would go to a certain point, and then they would like they I think they it was a like a film can, like a film canister, like
Mhm.
a where for developing film, and that would give them like a list of instructions as to be like, oh, in this like, and it was a super vague list of like direction. It was like, okay, the witch is going to show up at night, you guys act scared. And then like they just filled in the rest of it and then they shot all the film. And when that movie came out, it was the biggest grossing independent horror movie of that time. So that movie made
Yeah.
like whatever it made. It made $100 million or
I
whatever
saw
it made.
that in the movie theater in Bellingham when it came out. I was a senior in high
People thought it was
school.
real, yeah. But
Yeah,
like
it was awesome.
those actors in their agreement, they had signed a thing saying, I believe they were each owed 1% of the back end. And another example of Hollywood accounting, the distributing company that picked up Blair Witch Project said that the movie didn't make any money and we don't have to give you any money. So
Yeah.
they got paid $1,000 and all three of the actors had to take the company to court, and I think they each ended up getting a few $100,000 out of
Yeah,
it,
it
but
wasn't a lot, but it was something.
it was nowhere near like they should have each got millions of
They
dollars,
should have
but
all
like
got millions. Yeah.
but they each got like whatever it was. They got like 100,000, $200,000. They very famously got ripped off. But anyway, like this is like a super, a super side tangent.
Yeah.
But yeah, Netflix has acquired these production companies for 82 million. Has acquired HBO Max and Warner Brothers, their entire back catalog for 82 billion with a B, $82 billion. So this is definitely creating in my opinion, it's creating a bit of a monopoly, and we've just gone
I
back to
feel
cable.
yeah, in a way, I feel that Netflix is just becoming the Disney number 2. It's gonna be
Yeah, they're
Disney
huge.
owns everything and Netflix owns everything, and then also Amazon. They have 3 companies, and
Mhm.
it's just like, well, there's no individuality anymore. It's all gonna be like everything's gonna be compromised, and it needs to be more independent. I mean, like you have places like A24, which are making unique films, but then they get distributed to certain places. But yeah, then you have the mega production companies like Netflix. I prefer the independent, small places that are making good movies that release them into the theaters. I don't.
Mhm.
I watch stuff at home all the time, but I prefer watching movies in the theater, and I watch TV shows on TV at home.
Yeah.
But yeah, as long as there's still good places like what is it Tubi or Mubi? One of them is making
Mo
some good. Is it
Tube
Mubi? They're
Tube
the ones that are competing with Neon and A24.
yeah, that's movie. Tubi is
Tubi
the
is like the
Tu
24/7 of American Gladiators or whatever.
Tubi is like that, and no, that's Pluto. Tubi
Oh,
is Tubi is like every horror movie that you've never heard of that is like straight to streaming and like somehow it ends up
yeah.
on
So like
Tubi.
like a Shutter kind of thing.
Tubi is like where Bad Ben is. My favorite movie of all
Oh,
time,
oh
Bad Ben.
my God. Yeah, I've heard of that.
I love Bad
Oh,
Ben. Unironically, I would love to have the guy who plays Bad Ben in something. Uh, very. I love the thing that I love about that movie, specifically that movie, is do you know the story behind that movie?
I don't want to get into that. That's gonna be another long side tangent.
No.
No,
That's a
we'll
great
save that
story.
for the marathon.
Hold on,
We gotta
we'll save
keep
it for the
going with the
marathon.
stories. You're
Okay,
obsessed
we're
with
gonna
that guy and his movies.
because it's a great story. It's a great story. That man made that.
Uh-huh.
He made those movies for nothing.
You're
Okay,
fascinated
what
with him, not the story of the movie.
I think it's inspiring that somebody
Yeah,
could make a
yeah. I
movie
think
for
it's
like
cool if
nothing.
someone goes and makes their own thing. I think that's awesome, despite it being
Okay,
good or bad.
we'll segue into this. So Netflix agrees to acquire Warner Brothers and HBO Max for $82 billion. Something that it connects this in a little way, it connects the conspiracy stuff in a way, is the Stranger Things finale. Stranger Things is obviously very famously on Netflix. How do
Mhm.
you feel about Stranger Things?
I don't love Stranger Things. I think it's fine. Maddie, who plays Marty in the Dad series, is on that show. He's
Mhm.
Keith. He's like the arcade dude. I think he came back in the final season. I saw he posted some stuff he was doing, but I think it's
He did
cool
not
for
come he did
people. Brett
he didn't
Gelman's
come
in
back
it.
on the he didn't come back in the final season, but he Target made a
Oh, he
Stranger
did
Things
Target Eyes.
commercial.
That's what it was.
He's in
Yeah.
the ad, yeah.
Okay. Brett Gelman's in it, another guy that I know from the UCB that I like. So I think it's cool that people like that have gotten on it. Other than that, couldn't care less about the show. because I watched the first season and it was over. This is a whole rant I don't really want to get into. The first season to me was so try hard, make it feel 80s. It didn't feel
Really?
genuine to me because I'm a psychotic for the details and for just the frame rate and the way things looked in the 80s films, and they're captured on different cameras now, so you can try to make it look that way. The main thing that I didn't like though was the motivation from characters and motivation for music and the editor. It felt to me like the editor was like, all right, there's nothing happening, but still, da da da, super synthesizer, and it's like literally like nothing's going on. There was a scene in the very first episode, I think it was, where the main kid's riding his bike, and they're playing this so overly emotional synthesizer, like this nostalgic, heartfelt, memory-ridden synthesizer, and all he's doing is riding his bike around. It's like they act like he's going to see he just left his like dying mother. It's so overdone. It was very annoying to me. I was like, okay, you could have just played like and then ride the bike. It was just very trying hard, in my opinion. And also, it felt like the story had already been done. What's that anime with the girl who's like blowing everyone up in the psych ward with her
Oh,
brain?
Elfin
Elfin
Lied?
lead.
Yeah.
Elfin lead. It's basically okay. Well, this is Stranger Things is just taking Elfin lead, and then I felt like other things I'd seen. It's just kind of like everyone else's creations. It was the Quentin Tarantino of 80s sci-fi. That's how I felt. It's like they took a bunch of other people's stuff and put it into a series. Well, fine. I think it's okay to be
Yeah.
inspired, but for me, all those things being said, I'm just like, yeah, not for me. But I like the
I would
80s.
say I would say that I differ. I really do like the show, especially the first season. I feel opposite in actually. I feel like the first season was their strongest as a whole. And I've enjoyed every other season of the show. I think that I like the nostalgia aspect of it though, and I do feel like the show managed to capture a mood. I also really like Tarantino as well. So like
Mm,
I think that we're coming from I think where you don't seem to enjoy the homages quite as much. I think you more like purely original creations.
I
I
think
would
just do your own thing, make an original
yeah.
thing. Make something that other people will want to emulate later. If you're doing something that you're emulating other people's stuff, it's like, don't you feel kind of like, oh, I don't have my own ideas, but I liked all these guys' things, so I'll put it all together. I think that's cool in a way. Like Quentin Tarantino still
Yeah.
makes his own original storyline, but he then makes nods to things.
Oh no,
Stranger Things was
no no
literally
no.
just other shows.
Tarantino straight up takes like entire movies and like entire scenes and like he just does his own. Like he's like Reservoir Dogs is very famously just City on Fire or yeah,
Oh, is
Reservoir
it?
Dogs is just it's just another movie. It's just a like it's like a he just did it. So like Tarantino isn't it, but like I can still appreciate it as like its own thing while still being like something that's like almost a direct copy of something else.
Yeah.
But I think it's because of how he did it and the performances he gets out of the actors and the music that he chooses and like the shots that he chooses and like certain things he's like I think he's really good at, but he definitely just takes direct scenes from other films and just he's like I'm going to put that in my movie now. But
Yeah, yeah.
I see it as like I don't mind the homages. I actually really like Stranger Things.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
I
I see why people like it. I get it, but from the beginning, I was just like, okay, this feels a little too affected, and I just never cared to watch again.
well, what
Oh
if I
well.
told you, Nathan, what if I told you that let me just find my notes here. Bear with me, everybody. Bear with me. Check my notes.
Yeah, we got on too many side tangents.
We got on too many side
We
tangents
can't
here.
give our opinions because we have too many
Okay.
opinions
I
on everything.
okay, just so we can edit this in later.
Yeah,
What if I told you, Nathan, that Stranger Things was based on a real conspiracy theory?
really.
That's right. So there's actually several, but and I've talked about this on my YouTube channel, but very famously the initial there's actually two things because I've heard the Duffer Brothers talk about this. So the original inspiration, and I actually just heard an interview where they were talking about this. The original like nugget of the idea was the Duffer Brothers were at the Hollywood ArcLight Theater seeing
Hmm.
the movie Prisoners. Do you remember the movie Prisoners?
What happens in that?
It's a Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal movie that came out in like 2013. It's about a kidnapped child.
Oh, yes. Yes, I did.
So
Yeah, and, yeah, Hugh Jackman's kid was taken, and I just watched that recently again, actually.
it's a
Watched that
great,
twice.
it's a great movie. What is it?
Mhm.
Dennis Villeneuve. He did the new Blade Runner. He did
De
the Dune
Denny
movies.
Vallejo.
Denny Vallejo, yeah. So, but a great director.
Mhm.
But so the story that I heard watching this interview with the Duffer Brothers, they were walking out of the Hollywood, and we've both been to the Hollywood ArcLight. So they're
By
walking
the
out of
way,
the
the Hollywood ArcLight has been shut down since the pandemic, and then 2 days ago was the
oh, they just
first
reopened.
day that the lights came back on the street. It's
Ah,
coming back.
you know that was this is like I mean this is the show. This is the show. Another side tangent. Did you know that that was the last movie theater I went to before the pandemic happened? Like before
Oh,
like all
really?
of the pandemic-y stuff happened.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw 2 movies. I saw Sonic the Hedgehog, and then
Uh,
I saw and then I saw that Disney movie Onward, I think was the name of it.
that's crazy Sonic came out that
Oh no,
long ago.
and I saw Uncut Gems at that theater. So those were the last 3
Oh,
movies.
Uncut
Those are
Gems was before the pandemic?
yeah, that was like February 2020,
Wow. One of the
January
last
of
ones
20.
I remember seeing there was the, what was it called? Like, El Camino or whatever, the Breaking Bad movie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I remember this is like side tangent before we get into this story here. But I remember like right when like they started talking about the pandemic stuff, uh the guy at the theater, I was like getting like a popcorn or something, and I was like, oh, it's pandemic stuff's pretty crazy, huh? We don't know what's gonna happen here, huh? And the guy was like, he pulled out this bottle of like some unknown cleaner, and he was like, don't worry, we got the strong stuff.
Oh, he's gonna defeat COVID right there with that
But, like,
Windex.
it was just like I was like, "Oh, okay," and "Yeah," he's like, "They gave us this, like, super cleaner that we have to spray on everything after every showing," and I was like, "Oh, alright, I guess." I was like, "It sounds like this theater knows what they're doing," and then the
And
theater
now the
uh
building has been open for 7 years.
right, and then the building closed for 7 years after, so obviously
Maybe they
that
should have just used regular bleach.
yeah. Well, that was like that's a weird theater. For anybody who's never been to LA, the ArcLight is a great theater. There's a 70 millimeter dome. The dome is open, right? The 70 millimeter dome, but the theater
Nothing's
itself
open.
was
None of it is
oh, the
open.
whole thing's closed.
But
Oh
they're
wow.
talking that yeah, the dome light just came on the front of that on that side of the street next to Veggie Grill.
It's a
It's
very
being
famous
renovated
theater.
inside. There's talk that Quentin Tarantino was going to be one of the people that bought it and re brought it back, but I don't think
Mhm.
he did. Someone else did. Anyway, sorry
For
guys,
any,
you
for
probably don't
anybody going to
care
LA,
about this.
the dome and ArcLight is a very famous landmark theater in LA.
It's in a lot of
But
movies. They get shots of it in tons of stuff.
it's been around
I
forever.
think Quentin Tarantino put it in the Hollywood. What was
Once
the
upon a
Hollywood
time
movie
in
he made? Once
Hollywood,
Upon a
yeah.
Time in Hollywood. You can see it in that movie. That's where Tom and I went to like a lot of movies, and there's a Veggie Grill next door, which is a vegan fast food place that we'd always get food at before and after the movies.
It's right down the street from
So,
Amoeba Records, which is like
oh, my battery ran out on my Christmas tree.
what?
That's all I had.
This is it. It's just pure darkness over here.
Yep, the lights are going
Uh,
off. Sorry.
well,
Tell
this
the
is
story.
okay. So, uh, Stranger Things was actually so the initial nugget of Stranger Things from the interview that I heard from the Duffer Brothers. They were walking out of the Hollywood ArcLight. They had just seen the movie Prisoners, and they really liked the idea of a film that focused on somebody looking for a missing kid, which seemed like, I think that that's a setup in a lot of like 80s films, but they liked that idea. And then they had also had another idea, which was based on the very famous conspiracy theory uh, based on the Montauk Project. And like, are you familiar with the Montauk Project at all?
Yeah, yeah.
So, for anybody who doesn't know what the Montauk Project was, which I'm sure not everybody does, the Montauk Project was one of the most famous conspiracy theories that I can even think of. And basically, what it discloses is that the military in Montauk, New York, Montauk, Long Island, New York, in an abandoned military base, was experimenting on people, specifically children, kind of like 11, and which was, and it ended up being the inspiration for 11. They were basically creating child psychic soldiers out of this
Mhm.
military base in Montauk, New York. And it's one of the most famous conspiracy theories of all time. It was eventually disclosed by a man named Preston Nichols, who claimed that his memory had been wiped. And he was actually somebody who worked at this facility. His memory had been wiped, and then he was able to recover his memories. And everything about this screams Stranger Things. It even goes so far as to there's claims of a 12 level underground complex underneath this military structure. There's human experimentation, there's psychic enhancements and psionics used to amplify psychic abilities, manifesting objects, remote viewing, telekinesis, and experiments that allegedly allowed full blown teleportation and development of
Mm.
things like time tunnels and time travel, and then eventually going into alien contact. And also, what ended up blowing this whole case wide open and the military closing the base is that one of these psychic children was able to conjure a evil entity that ended up destroying the base, wrecking havoc. The military had to come in and cover it all up. And basically, the Duffer brothers had heard this story. And when they initially pitched Stranger Things, it was even called Montauk. That was the original name.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the original name of Stranger Things. It wasn't called Stranger Things in the beginning. It was called Montauk, and it was set in Montauk, New York, and it was very directly inspired by the events of the Montauk Project. And eventually they changed it a little bit more, but I do think that it's really fascinating
Mm.
that the Duffer brother, and I to go into what you're saying about the Duffer brothers taking inspiration from all manner of
It's
other
different when it's
film.
taken from real life. I think that's cooler to uh,
But something
base
that I
something
think
off
is
of a real
interesting
life
is that if
thing that happened.
something that I think is interesting is that if you if you're in the know, if you know about these conspiracy theories, you go, "Oh wait, Stranger Things season 1 was the Montauk Project." They just like changed the names, they changed the events, they changed the location to Hawkins, Indiana from Montauk, Long Island, and they just took that idea. But if you didn't know about the Montauk Project, you wouldn't know that this was a real military conspiracy theory that did exist at one time. Like this was
Yeah.
inspired by alleged, and I'm doing air quotes. So this was inspired by quote unquote real events. But I do think that it's
Yeah.
interesting that there was supposedly there was a real 11, and I can tell you the real 11's name was a person named Duncan Cameron. Duncan Cameron was a real person who later came forward to talk about his experiences on Montauk. So there was a real person. His name was Duncan Cameron. He came forward along with his brother Al Bielek. Al Bielek, you may remember
I know
from
Al Bielek. Yeah.
the Philadelphia experiment. So this was connected with the Philadelphia experiment.
So either
And
these
did you
two
know?
brothers made up a bunch of, because how convenient, they both had crazy things that happened to them from the government. Did they both get taken as children to get tested on, or did they both just have elaborate imaginations and this sort
Well,
of fabrication works for them?
it's funny you should say because Al Bielek was actually a different person named Edward Cameron at one point, and he was reborn as Al Bielek later on in life because there
I'm
was a
believing
time
this
travel
less and
element.
less the more I find out.
Because there was a time travel element to this entire story. Did you also know that Al Bielek was also on board the USS Eldridge? The USS Eldridge, which was very famously teleported back in time during the
Yeah,
Philadelphia experiment.
when people got fused to the boat,
Al
and
Bielek was one of
he's lucky he didn't get fused. How come everyone else got fused to the boat and he didn't?
well, Al Bielek and his brother Duncan Cameron were on board that ship as sailors. And when they had activated the time displacement equipment, they dove through a time tunnel
Oh
ending up
my
in
god.
1983, where they met Dr. John von Neumann in the
Where
future.
they met
Suppose
11 from Stranger Things.
this is a very it's a very complicated it's a very complicated convoluted story, and I do
Mm,
think that it's fascinating that we can connect the Philadelphia experiment, the Montauk project, uh with Stranger Things. We can connect these
yeah.
things, and I do think it's very interesting to know that the Duffer brothers, probably the most famous men in entertainment right now, are clearly huge fans of Coast to Coast AM.
I was just gonna say they're gotta be coast to coast fans.
They
This
have
is
to be
probably I mean,
massive fans of it.
so many shows and movies and ideas and books are probably have been inspired from people listening to Coast to Coast. How many crazy calls have people heard? They're like, "Hey, that's like actually kind of a good idea. Let me write that." You know? Listening
I
to weird anything, like even just folklore. That's where like
it
movies come from. That's all this is. It's just a new form of folklore.
yeah, it's just new folklore. But I do think that it's really interesting. Like when like even watching this, I was like, this sounds familiar. And then going into it and being like, oh, they definitely just took these elements from all of these coast to coast stories and they just turned them into a television show.
Yeah. I mean, it works.
S-
Good episodes come out of it.
Also, I didn't know this until very, very recently, but did you know that Stranger Things has a Broadway show that's going on right now?
I
That
didn't.
it so I wish that it was playing nationwide. But and this is interesting to me. So there is a let me just make sure I have the name right. Okay, yeah. So there is a Broadway show going on right now called Stranger Things: The First Shadow, which tells the backstory of Henry Creel, who would later become Vecna, the show's main antagonist. But
Hmm.
that Broadway show starts on board the USS Eldridge, and then it goes through the events of the Philadelphia experiment, directly connecting the Philadelphia experiment with the show. And
Who wrote this Broadway thing? Any of the
the
writers from
Duffer Brothers.
the brother? Oh, they did. So they're really expanding and they're getting their money's worth out of this
But it's
IP.
so crazy to me that like because I saw somebody post on TikTok, because they say so this person on TikTok was like, "Did you know that there's a Broadway show?" And I was like, "No, I didn't know that there was a Broadway show." And then I looked at the story for it and like saw what people were saying, and they very directly mention that the ship that the captain is on at the beginning is the USS Eldridge, and it's the events of the Philadelphia experiment, and then
Mm,
that later connects with the Stranger Things lore, and it was written by the Duffers. And I did think that that was very fascinating. That I'm like, oh, like they really, really, really wanted to connect these Art Bell, Coast to Coast AM, Al Bielek stories with the show. And if you weren't a fan of these conspiracy theories, you would think that they are the most genius writers of all time.
yeah. I mean, people who don't pay attention to the conspiracy theories must be like, this is such a cool original idea, which,
Exactly. But this
it's
is
fun for
based
them to
on
not know
like
and go
this
along with
is
it.
like this is Al Bielek and Duncan Cameron and Preston Nichols and these other conspiracy theorists in the 80s and 90s either developing these stories or living through these real events. But the other thing that I think is fascinating about this Stranger Things stage show is this gives you the complete backstory of Vecna in canon, because the Duffer Brothers wrote the stage show with another writer who also wrote on Stranger Things itself.
Mhm.
But if you didn't see the stage show, you wouldn't have this backstory. It's not necessary to enjoy the show, but I do think that it's crazy that there's an entire like back story that like aside from the people that go to this Broadway show will be aware of this thing, or how
Yeah.
connected it is with in universe with all of these conspiracy theories.
I just had a thought and I totally forgot. Oh, the one of the best things to come from Stranger Things was Kate Bush finally getting the credit she deserves as one of the greatest singers and pop stars ever. Kate
Mhm.
Bush, I've been a fan of since the '80s. My dad listened to
Running up
her.
that hill.
Running Up That Hill, and then so many people in the world discovered her, and mainstream people were like, "Oh, I didn't know about this lady," and I'm happy for her. Hopefully, she made a good amount of money from that song being played literally
She
everywhere all the time from Stranger Things last year or 2 years
I
ago,
did look
whatever
it
it
up.
was.
She made, I believe she made a few $1 million from the
Good.
royalty fees
She
of
was
that.
awesome. She recorded her first album in a barn at 15 somewhere in England, and,
Crazy.
she's been singing ever since. Yeah, I love Kate Bush and that
Not
song.
just Kate
They
Bush,
did
but,
a good job of using that in that show at
the
that
new
point.
season, features, music from Tiffany.
Oh, that's
So, like
cool. I like
so, like,
Tiffany.
uh so, like, another, like, '80s person that, like,
Yeah.
had
Tiffany
kind
was
of,
a little
like
more mainstream in my opinion. I mean, maybe Kate Bush was bigger in England since she was from England, but she didn't get a lot of credit in my opinion here in America. I think Kate Bush should have been as big as Madonna because she was
yeah.
more talented and had better songwriting ability. Her lyrics are just better, songs are more meaningful. I at one point in my life had a another this is I probably shouldn't even say this. This is a little bit this is a little bit
No, 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 go on. Tell us your
Hollywood.
deepest
This is some
tell it
Hollywood
tell
gossip.
us this Hollywood oh, I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna talk about that singer?
I'm not gonna say names, but it's some Hollywood gossip is that I was dating a famous singer and who was
Well,
British.
you weren't dating them. Didn't you
No,
go didn't
it was no, it was
Oh, wait,
over.
no,
Yeah,
no.
it was over a
Oh,
month.
wait,
It
no.
was we were
Oh, yeah,
dating.
yeah, yeah. You did go, but then they ghosted you, right?
No, let me tell you a story. I was dating a Hollywood singer. When sorry, this is the Hollywood gossip. I was dating a famous singer, in my opinion.
She's
I was a
famous.
fan.
Yeah,
I
I
was a
remember.
fan of
I'm
this
not gonna
person
say I'm
in
not
my
gonna say who it
20s.
was. I'm not gonna say who it was, but Nathan definitely, for a very brief period of time, Nathan dated a very
I dated this
famous
person for
singer.
about a month and a half, and at one point in my time with this person, we were talking about Kate Bush. This was 2017, I think.
Yeah,
We were
it was
talking
like
about
I remember you texting me.
mm,
This is like unrelated to your story, but I remember you sending me like a link to one of their songs and being like, "Do you know this person?" And I was like, I guess." And then you were like, "I'm dating them." And I was like, "What?"
yeah. The quick version of the story, the quick version of this Hollywood gossip is that I was dating a very well-known singer from England, and I was a fan of theirs. And we were talking about Kate Bush. She was a fan of Kate Bush. I was a fan of Kate Bush, and then she sang to me in bed "This Woman's Work," which is a really good Kate Bush song that I like. And then she also sang um, "Moon River" to me, which is another one of my favorite songs. And I was like, this is one of the nicest moments I've just ever had as a human with another human. And it was just a cool thing to hear. I was like thinking, this is so weird that this person's singing this to me right now as we're like laying here. And it was just a really nice moment. And I still love both of those songs. So yeah, there we go. But that's not connected to Stranger Things. It
I
just
mean,
made
it's
me
kind of
think of it
strange.
because Kate Bush I am a big fan of, and that's the closest I feel I will get to Kate Bush singing me this song is this other British singer singing a Kate Bush song to me. So
Mhm.
maybe someday Kate Bush will come serenade me,
I mean, you
and
got to have a girlfriend for a little while
she can
too.
serenade Katie, me, and Katie.
You got
Yeah, but
to
yeah, and I had a
Yeah.
girlfriend for a while, but that the reason we broke up is because she said she was still not over her ex, and we then broke
I
up.
I
And then
I
I found
remember it.
out she also
She
was
w
working with another person that you know and I know who was in the music industry, and she was. This is a whole side thing. I don't
Uh-huh.
want to get. This is not even part of the show. We
No,
shouldn't
no,
be
no.
talking
This
about
is
this.
what the people want. Listen, everybody, if you want more odd drama, please consider doing a membership or a donation, and Nathan will spill all the
No, I
juicy
won't.
goss,
I
all the
won't.
hot goss. He'll do it all.
At the time,
He'll name names.
she started working with Helen, Seth's girlfriend, my brother's girlfriend. So these two brothers are dating these two British ladies, totally coincidental. And then as we're dating, the two girls link up and the singer signs with the record label that my brother's girlfriend works for. So it was like, what? So they were like paired and we were paired.
Let's go.
Crazy.
They want more gossip.
Thank you,
All right.
James.
How about this?
Gates wants a backflip.
Every donation is a letter in this person's name.
No. Thank you, Gates, for the donation. I appreciate it. The thing I was gonna say was, it was just weird that the timing that she knew Helen and worked with Helen. It was just very bizarre and strange. But then, because the reason I'm bringing that Helen up is because after she broke up with me, because she said she still liked her ex, she then uh, I would find out things going on from her through Helen because Helen was still working with her. And she said that like 11 months later, she's having a baby and married to some other guy. I was like, wait, what? So she didn't care about me or her ex. And she was on to this new guy, had a baby. And now, a year later, she's divorced.
That's a letter. That's a letter. That's a letter of the name.
Thank you, Ashton. Thank you for the donation.
That's a
But anyway,
letter.
end of that story is she left me for the because she liked the ex, and then she met another guy, had a baby with that guy, and then less than a year later left that guy, and now she has the baby alone, and that's all she really wanted, I think, was just
I
to get
mean,
that
it sounds
baby
like
from
you dodged.
somebody.
It sounds like you dodged it. First of all, it sounds like you were a rebound. Secondly, it sounds
Yeah.
like you dodged. It sounds like you dodged a bullet.
I think so. I've learned some things about this person that I think, oh, we weren't a good perfect match, but we were very similar in a lot of ways, and that's probably why we weren't a good match because we were like it was competing. She didn't I feel that she wanted me to be more just like a working class guy that kind of had a regular job because she would often bring up her exes that she liked their jobs. And one guy was like a plumber,
Yeah.
one guy was a mailman. She was obsessed with this mailman ex. She's like, he had such a cute job. He just did his little route and then he'd come home and then he'd sit there and I'd show him all the creative things I did. And I was like, oh, life
It's kind of
sucks. And I was
sad.
like, that sounds boring. I'm like, and then I'm talking about all the things I'm making. And I think she didn't want me to be the wild, crazy one
Yeah.
too, because that made her stand out. I'm psychoanalyzing. Who knows? That's just based on my experience. It felt like
It's a
this is
little
not the
sad.
show.
And
What am I doing? Why are we talking about this?
this is odd drama. This is the
This is
show.
odd drama started already.
This is odd drama, everybody. Nathan, you got to start spilling all the tea.
I
Start.
mean, she's still a millionaire, so maybe I should be like, oh hey, maybe you want to produce my new album, my new dad album.
Mhm, mhm. Now,
Yeah,
now is the
she
time.
probably saw the dad pop star coming and felt threatened because I was gonna
Mhm.
out pop star her.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh
Yeah,
yeah. What's
yeah.
the first? Yeah. Okay. You got to give him one letter. Just one.
Okay. One letter in the person's name is A.
Ooh. Way.
Figure it out.
Figure it out, everybody. Figure it out. Also, I see the raspberries in the chat. That jogs my memory. Every stream, if we can get 10 new members, Nathan has to watch Kona Supin, the official theme song of the show. And we're only
No.
nine, we're only
The
nine
official
away.
theme song is to show that never gets played during the show.
We're only nine away. Only nine more and Kona Supin will happen. Hello, Raspberry. Well, yeah, I just thought that that was the Netflix acquisition tying in with Stranger Things. I did think that it was really interesting that and there's other things too that Stranger Things pulls from. Like there was the for the character of Eddie Munson, who was from season 4, they pulled really heavily from the West Memphis 3 case, which was a very, very
Mhm.
famous case, which I'm sure you're aware of from
Yeah.
there's a really good documentary
We
called
talked
Paradise
about
Lost.
that recently, semi-recently.
Yeah, it's a great for anybody who hasn't seen it, it's a very sad documentary, but it's a great documentary. But that case, which was the inspiration for the Eddie Munson character from season 4, was basically these 3 heavy metal art teens from Arkansas were accused of murdering these kids, which they didn't do.
Yeah.
They were railroaded by fault. One of them gave a false confession and they were sentenced to one of them was sentenced to death, the other ones were sentenced to life in prison. They were in prison for decades before they were eventually
Yeah. Lives
released.
ruined.
Their lives were completely ruined. The main guy's name was Damien Eccles, but Damien Eccles was the inspiration for Eddie Munson, like that character who
Yeah.
was super wrongfully accused. But that whole thing with the satanic, that whole arc was the satanic panic and all of that from season 4 was directly inspired by the case of the West Memphis 3.
Yeah.
So
So
they pulled from
that's
a
a
lot of
theme
things.
with the show. They pull from a lot of real life true crime,
Yep.
conspiracy theory material that has happened on the planet, which is, that's a good storytelling, I guess, because the best stories are things that really happened, you know?
I think that the Duffers were smart in that way. I think that they took and the Duffers are a little bit older than I am. They're like a year older than I am, so they're not that much older than I am. So a little bit younger than you, a
Yeah.
little bit older than I am. But I think that they were just like film guys who were very clearly into things like Coast to Coast. They were very clearly into true crime. There's a lot of punk rock in Stranger Things, so I think that they were
Mhm.
like punk guys,
Yeah.
and I think that they're very, very smart at knowing what references to pull from that will like be nostalgic for our generation and for like millennials really
I think they
specifically.
also just are very big fans of sci-fi because they wrote on one of my favorite shows ever, which not
Oh
a lot
yeah,
of people
Wayward
know about,
Pines. Yeah.
Wayward Pines. They were
Great show.
writers on that show, really good show, and I feel like it
Yeah.
could have gone longer. And that's when I first heard about these guys. So it would make sense that they would go on to create, this big successful show. So
Their
it's cool
story,
of them.
The Duffers story is pretty crazy. They went to film school and they did a couple little shorts and then they did an independent feature called Hidden. And from what I read is they pitched that got acquired and then from that short they got Wayward Pines as writers and executive
Wow.
producers. And that was an M Night Shyamalan show. So their rise was like they went to film
Wow.
school, they made some shorts, they made an independent movie called Hidden, and then they got a writing show. Like
So you're
uh,
telling me when I make my independent horror film based on the Dad YouTube series early next year, my life's about to change.
it would
All
be
right. Thank you.
I mean, it would be great. I feel like I do feel like you have a bit in common with the Duffers. I feel like you'd get along with them if you ever
Yeah, sure.
maybe that
Same age, like sci-fi, like conspiracy theories. Sure.
yeah, they seem
I
like they're
like
into the
the
same
80s.
stuff.
I'm from
But
there.
that's why we can never show them the clip of you saying you you don't like Stranger Things.
I don't think they'd
Their
even
biggest
care.
show.
They're
Yeah.
billionaires. They don't care
Yeah,
who
that's
likes
true.
it or not.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, that's what we were talking about earlier. We were saying how can Netflix afford to acquire Warner Brothers and acquire HBO Max and all that stuff? I read a statistic that streaming revenue alone from Stranger Things, just from Stranger Things, Netflix has made $1 billion,
Whoa.
and that's not including. Have you seen how much Stranger Things merch there is?
Oh, it's everywhere. Yeah.
That's another $2 billion or whatever it is. So
I always
like, if
forget
you're
about that, like Lego stuff and all this other stuff. Netflix is earning money from that and thermoses and
right.
all that.
And like, yeah, the Duffers are making money on that for sure. They're making a percentage, but
Mhm.
just from streaming revenue on Stranger Things alone, Netflix has made $1 billion. So like when you
Yeah.
hear like, okay, how could they possibly afford to buy Warner Brothers? And it's like they made $1 billion off that. They made X billion dollars off merchandise just from Stranger Things. That's just one show. But now you
Mhm.
add in like The Witcher, you add in like all of these other Netflix shows, and like even and then they're writing all of this stuff off as like losses
Peaky
or
Blinders,
expenses.
another huge show. One of my favorite shows ever was Peaky Blinders, and that
Yeah.
they're now doing a movie. They did like 5 seasons, doing a movie off of it now.
I think that
Yeah,
Netflix is doing
that's
all
not even
right.
one of the big ones.
I think they're
That's
doing all right.
BBC, Peaky Blinders. It's only available on
Oh,
Netflix in
Jamie's
America.
awake. He
oh,
lives.
producer Jamie, Jamie bringing the facts. I thought Netflix made that show.
No, it was made by the BBC. I know that because I was on season 2 as one of the extras, and they were filming it
That's
for the
right.
BBC.
We need everyone to look for Jamie in Peaky Blinders season 2. Do you know it? Weren't you in a scene where there was a caravan? I remember thinking that when you told me that long ago.
I believe it was episode 1 of season 2. There was a funeral
New
scene.
tip from Casaboo.
Oh, there you go. Look at
What?
that. New tip.
Oh, when they burn the caravan, right?
Yeah. No, it's a funeral where they were saying goodbye to somebody who had passed.
Oh
and
my
I
God.
was in there.
is it Casaboo's birthday? They said an odd birthday to me. Happy birthday.
Oh,
Is it your birthday, Casa? Thank you for that
happy
donation. Happy
birthday,
birthday.
Casa. And was that Casa who donated on her birthday?
Yes, thank you very
This
much.
is
Happy
you're
birthday.
doing it backwards, Casa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And yes,
Congratulations.
I was on a couple of episodes of Peaky Blinders. Here's some little fun facts for you. Season 5, I was in there when they were doing that stuff. Extras were no longer allowed to talk to Cillian Murphy because
Why?
one of the extras saw dog shit on the floor, walked up to him, and said, "Did you bring that from Ireland?"
Whoa.
Ooh.
That's like really rude.
Incredibly
Yeah.
rude. I thought that was
So
absolutely
do British
disgusting when
people
I
not
heard
like
that.
Irish people?
My thought is he was doing it as a joke, and I think he was an absolute idiot for thinking that he would find that funny.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Dang. Jamie with the
Yeah.
Hollywood gossip. Keeping us.
Holly-
This is a Hollywood. This is for Odd Drama, the Odd Drama channel. Jamie
Hollywood
was
gossip.
there on
Hollywood gossip
set,
from England.
and he watched Cillian Murphy fight a British man over dog poop. Crazy. You heard it here first.
but yeah. So for anyone who wonders why Cillian Murphy doesn't like the British and then gets pissed off when people call him British, that is one of the many
Yeah.
reasons why.
That's funny.
Wasn't there an
Well,
interview
cool
where
you
something
got to be
said?
on the show, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't there an interview? I remember seeing some press junket where somebody said something like that. It was like the interviewer didn't know where Cillian Murphy was from and said something like that to him, and he said, "I'm Irish."
Yes, he said, "So you're both
Oh.
British," to Tom Hardy
Yeah,
and Cillian
and he was like,
Murphy.
"I'm Irish," and he was like, "I'm
Yes.
Irish."
And he said his response to that was same thing, which was not a good thing to say. Like,
I mean,
to an Irish
if
person.
It's a
someone
different
thought-
country.
If
It's a
I was
different
on a-
country.
yeah, but still, but I would see it like this. Everyone's dumb. Also, if I was on a show with a Canadian person and the person was like, "Oh, so you're both Canadian," blah, 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 and I'd be like, "Oh, no, I'm from America." I couldn't care less. I'm like, I don't care if you think I'm from Canada. I don't care if you think I'm from South Africa or anywhere. What does it matter? It's just, I have a similar voice to the Canadian. So, yeah, I can see it. So, I mean, maybe it's happened to him so many times that now he's just like can't stand it and it's bothersome.
Well, I mean, specifically with, and Jamie, you can correct. You probably like this is more of like your history than mine, but like there's very famously been a lot of disputes between Ireland and the United
Yeah.
Kingdom.
And
Like
also,
there's
it's probably
been
just like
war. And,
it's probably no patience for the dumb Americans who mix it up all the time. They don't know the accents. They all sound the same to us. So
Yeah.
well, there's
so,
there's like real history between the Irish Republican Army and like
Yeah.
the UK. Like there's like lots of like bloodshed on both sides.
yeah,
And so it's
that's like the whole
I-
North Ireland's thing, right?
there's a
Yeah,
reason
they're
most
separating.
people have Irish background is because the Brits literally caused a famine in Ireland, killing thousands of millions of people, and they had to flee from the country, and that's why lots of people in America have Irish heritage. It's a lot of the reasons why people in the UK have Irish heritage as well, because they literally were forced to leave their own country because of the royal family in the UK. And then we also split up Ireland, which we still have split, Northern Ireland and Ireland. Northern Ireland is part of Britain, and
Yeah.
Ireland isn't, and splitting that obviously wasn't a good idea. And so yeah, there's a lot of history there, which is why Cillian Murphy and many other Irish
don't you remember
people.
that? Don't you remember that Morrissey song?
What? No, what is it? What one?
The
Hang the DJ.
first of the guy with the no, the like he has a did Morrissey
Why
has
don't
the
you
song.
sing that for us, Tom? Well, let's hear it.
You know Morrissey, and then you got to do like a
Hang
gotta do,
the
like, some moves like-
DJ, hang the DJ.
No, Morrissey-
Sunday, bloody
Morrissey
Sunday.
has
That's not
that
even
song.
Morrissey,
He has
that's
the-
like the Cure.
he has like the Irish blood, English heart is Sunday.
Oh, that's a pretty good impression you got going on over there.
Right,
I'll
then you have
say
to
this
do-
about Cillian Murphy. It's the interviewer, people might think he's Irish, British, because he's on a TV show called Peaky Blinders where he plays a British man in Birmingham, England. So people probably think he's British because they watched him be British on a show. So
True, but
that's
like
probably a big part of it.
if you're going to so if you're an interviewer, the least you could do is like, so
Yeah, you
I think
should
of
do your
that.
research.
I think of that thing where he's talking to Tom Hardy, and like that's the first thing that came to my mind, being like, so you're both British, and like myself as the interviewer, I'm going to interview these two famous, hugely famous people. I should at least know where
Where
they're
they're
from.
from.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, I know. That's probably annoying. I get it.
yeah,
But they all sound the same.
but they don't.
Sorry, Jamie.
That,
Sorry, Jamie. I didn't mean to insult your Irish roots.
How dare.
Where
Jamie's
are
from
you from? Are you
he's from
from?
a different country.
Are you from England, Jamie, or Wales?
I'm from England, yeah. Northern
Okay.
England, yeah.
All right. That's another thing. Don't mix up the Welsh with the British. I learned that during the pandemic. I thought it was the same thing.
Yeah, they don't like that. Well, that's the same with Scotland as well. One thing the
Yeah.
Welsh don't like is the fact that not many people forget about Wales out of all
Yeah,
out of the
I
three
didn't know it was its
islands.
own
They get
place.
that's what they get really mad about, because everyone remembers obviously England, but then when they list them they go Scotland and Ireland, and then they forget Wales, and then
Yeah.
and then Wales get really mad at it.
You
Wales
know,
is like the Rhode Island in America, basically.
yeah,
It's
well,
the Rhode Island of Europe.
for the longest time, I just assumed Wales was part of Australia.
Well, isn't there a place in Australia called Wales, New Wales, or New South Wales, or whatever?
I think there's, yeah, isn't there new? Yeah, maybe that's why I had the
Or maybe
confusion.
that's
But
in
like,
England.
but yes, I do think that Wales, like the Welsh, that is the Rhode Island, where it's like, I think when I think of that area of the world, I think of the UK, I think of Great Britain, I think of Ireland, I think of Scotland, but I don't necessarily think of
Yeah.
Wales.
It's because no one really looks at maps. When I first heard of Wales, I watched when I was little.
But then
One
you
of my
claimed
favorite Christmas
you claimed you
movies.
became Welsh somehow.
I am Welsh. I just found that out, and that's cool for
But
me
you're
to
not.
know. Shh.
You're not
I
Welsh.
learned about Wales through A Child's Christmas in Wales.
You're
a
from
Christmas
Massachusetts.
movie.
You're not from a movie. You're from Massachusetts.
I'm from New England, which is basically the second England. So I'm still from
It's
England.
not. It's a completely different country.
It's New England. So I'm new British.
Your ancestors left England to go to a different country, and you're
To go
from a
eat
different
clam
country.
chowder in Boston. So since I'm
Right.
from New England, I'm New English.
There is no New English. It's just you're a
Yes,
New
this is it.
Englander. It's
I was
just
gonna
like
say,
Okay.
Wales. I like Wales because I like the movie A Child's Christmas in Wales. But when I was watching that when I was little, I thought Wales was like a town in England by the beach. I didn't know it was a whole country. And then I learned that while live streaming and everyone yelling at me that England was not Wales. And that's when I took on the persona of, oh, I'm Welsh. So it's okay for me to be inaccurate because I'm from there. And that was my defense.
But you're not
it's
from
never,
there.
I've never dropped it since.
So you made
Anyway.
up a whole fictional scenario so you could be wrong, but you're actually right.
No, I'm just working on acting. No one can ever say I'm a liar because I'm always just acting.
It's true. You are an actor.
Hmm. You lied to my face. No, I acted to your face.
You go, well, no, you just have to say, yet.
Yeah, that was your famous
If you
defense
just go,
for everything.
right. If you just say, ha ha, yet. And then
Yet, let me tell you.
it just confuses the other person, and they have no defense against
They
that.
know this. They're like, okay, there's no arguing with this. Anyway, we should move on. I don't think we've done any of the stories on the episode today. We are just
we did the first story. Why don't you take the second story? Why don't you take the story that is the thumbnail of today's episode?
Hell yeah. All right. Producer Jamie, are you prepared to talk about the Deer Woman?
I'm ready.
All right, let me go here.
Oh dear.
So this is like the whole
thing.
Long video, but I don't know if you just want to mute it and then go through and look at imagery as we talk about this. But here, I guess I'll get into it. Where are we? Tom.
Yes, Nathan.
Did you hear Wait, let me do it again. Every time I wait for you to respond and it takes so long and I don't want to leave the gap there, you always say yes right when I start
Don't you
saying
know
it.
about
So
it's a dramatic pause, okay?
it's a real dramatic pause.
I'm acting.
Ah, yet. Tom.
Yes, Nathan.
Oh, thought you fell asleep on me. I got something to wake you up. Did you hear about the woman who was in a relationship with a deer who was then later mauled by that very same deer?
I haven't. This is is this real?
It's real. It's kind of depressing. It's a little bit Grizzly Man, if you've ever seen that documentary,
Mhm.
and it's a little bit Tiger King, if you've ever seen that Netflix series, whatever
I've
that
seen
was.
Tiger King. I haven't seen Grizzly Man, although Grizzly Man, the bear eats him at the end, right?
Yeah, Grizzly Man is a documentary about a guy who thinks he's friends with the bears, and he thinks these literal grizzly bears know him and remember him and like him and won't eat him. And
And then they
it's a horribly demented, tragic ending of this documentary. It's fascinating. People should watch it, but be warned, it's really sad and messed up. And the
it's
guy is an idiot.
is it a it's a Werner Herzog movie, right?
Yeah, Werner Herzog like directed it, and I think he
Yep.
voices it over. This is a similar thing where it's like humans and animals maybe shouldn't live together so intimately, kind of like that family that had lions that would always get mauled in the 70s or 60s. This woman was caring
Yeah.
for a deer, and very same deer ended her life.
Well, think about
If
the
you want to watch the
there
clips, we can watch some of it.
yeah, well there was just side note, there was that lady who had didn't she have a pet chimpanzee and it ripped her face off?
Yeah, that's
So
another
it's like
example of humans
but
and
like
animals shouldn't stay together.
so something to consider for anybody out there who like is wanting to like maybe acquire one of these animals probably illegally. Don't, because these are still not domesticated creatures. Some of them might be friendlier because they're a little more domesticated, like a like a deer at a petting zoo. You might be able to give them some like feed or something, or whatever, but these are still undomesticated. You think about like your pet cat, and like I have cats, and I the cats are great. I love the cats. Great. They sleep in the bed. They sleep in the bed with us. Love the cats. Those cats will still every once in a while swat at you, and they'll every once in a while take a little bite because they're still creatures that are not human. And now
Yeah,
amplify that times 1,000, and it's an undomesticated wild creature that doesn't understand what you're saying to it, and it will, like the lady with the chimpanzee, will rip your face off.
it's because people put their emotions onto the animals and sort of assume, oh, I'm feeling this affection for this creature. They must be feeling it for me too,
That's
since
not true.
they're cuddling with me. But yeah, you can cuddle with an animal, but there is a line, they can just snap. Any animal could snap and kill you.
Yeah.
And be careful, especially if they have antlers. Don't be cuddling with them.
Okay, so there was a lady. So there was a lady. So what you're setting up here? There's a lady who was she was in a romantic relationship with the deer.
No, so I think that's what the headlines have been saying. I don't think it was like that guy who dated his car or was in love with his car and would kiss it, which is a thing. People who are in relationships with inanimate objects. This wasn't that insane, but I think the headlines have
What
sort
I
of
want to
painted it
know,
that way. I think
Nathan,
she was a caretaker of the animals.
what I would like to know is, did anybody have a secret, intimate relationship with the Keith Apicary body pillow?
You can guarantee that, yes, I'm
I can
sure.
almost guarantee that there are some real sick puppies in this audience that probably had a weird relationship with the Keith
I
Apicary
hope
body
so.
pillow.
I hope so, because I want to release Odd Boys pillows, some odd pillows. One side is Tom, one side is me. Big full body pillow. Buy them and
Yep.
cuddle with them. Have an odd
And then
evening.
we've got to have like a special cover that's Jamie too. So it's like, don't
Well,
want
that's the
Tom or
thing.
Nathan. It's just Jamie.
When you unzip it and you look inside, you peek inside, that's Jamie going like this.
It's
Jamie
just me
snuck inside the
sleeping.
pillow. He's literally asleep inside the pillow.
Oh, okay,
That's
okay.
a good.
Yeah. Would
That's a
anybody
really
buy?
good idea. That's some merch right there.
Yeah, can we get a can I want to check with the chat. Who in the chat had a weird relationship with the Keith Apicary body pillow? We
I
need
don't
to
think
know
anyone here bought one of those. That was a while ago. That's a different
we need to
audience.
know what the audience is like for the Odd Boys body pillow.
Well, anyway, this woman, I think it was more like a animal rescue type situation,
Okay,
and
she got a deer.
she loved the animals. She took care of some deer and then died.
Jody Marie Prager was born on March 19, 1961, and lived in Stewartsville, Ohio. She
This is
graduated
an
from Bel
inappropriate
Air
joke,
High School.
Nathan. I'm just gonna say it, even though it's an inappropriate joke. I'm just gonna say if she had a some sort of sexual relationship with the deer, at least she died doing what she loved.
And I'll say to that, oh dear.
Oh dear. Don't project your feelings on animals. It's weird.
Yeah, don't have
At some
feelings
point,
for
she had a daughter
animals.
named Jennifer and married a man named Tony. Jody and Tony lived on a 5-acre farm where they had various animals, including horses. Jody was described as a homemaker and an avid animal lover. In 2013, as Jody was driving down the highway, she saw a doe get struck and killed by a motor vehicle that was a few cars ahead of her. In her rearview mirror, she saw a newborn male fawn circling around its mother's body on the side of the road. Jody turned
Can
around.
I just say that this guy's voiceover is very unthrilling?
Yeah, this is the most. I mean, like, give this man the award for Dr. Todd Grande.
He has a million subscribers as well.
He's
Get
a
1 million
popular guy.
subscribers.
People are a fan of his non-enthusiasm.
I tell you what, guys, I've got a fancy way to go about this.
Yeah,
Gonna speed it up.
Let's juice that energy up a little bit.
I bet this is how most people watch this.
Rescued the fawn and took him back to her property. She named him Weezer. At that time, it was illegal in Ohio to care for a wild deer due to fears about chronic wasting disease. This is an illness that affects deer in many states. Jody would later emphatically deny that she knew she was breaking the law. saying, quote,
Yeah, let's give it a go. Too much there. Let's do 1.5. See how that goes.
No one ever told me it was illegal to have a deer. No one. Unquote. Weezer adapted to life on the Proger family farm. Jody indicated that he would come inside the house every night at 10 p.m. and climb onto the love seat. There, he would watch television for a while before falling asleep. When the call of nature struck Weezer.
So she did take a straight up wild deer out of the woods and put it in her house.
I mean, it looks really happy.
I mean, it's an animal. It always looks happy. It's just chewing on grass. The thing was not born with humans. Like some animals who have been raised, like there's people who have wolves and they just live with the owners and their dogs because they've been with them since they were puppies. That's different. It kind of rewires their brains. This was a deer living in the woods. Yeah. Its mother died and a lady stole it and brought it in her house and started feeding it in and out.
I mean, yeah, like this deer was just a hostage, basically.
Yeah, she should have let the deer live its life in the woods. She probably felt like, oh, it doesn't have a mother. I'll be its mother.
It is, yeah, like what you're saying is like, yes, like something like a wolf, it can imprint. If you're the first thing that animal sees, it'll imprint on you as like, oh, it's my parent. Like, and like, you'll have a little bit of a different relationship with the creature, which is like, yeah, it'll be like more domesticated, but like, yeah, this was a straight up from
wild
the woods
animal.
deer. Yeah, it's like, and like I love animals, like I do, but like I understand that there's a line, and like this was not a domesticated creature, and like I feel bad for this lady, obviously, and like I don't want anything to have had to happen to her, and like obviously she died, that's the story, but it's super sad. But I do think that there is like a certain, like, she was delusional, like she needed like help. She needed a psychiatrist or something. She needed people to step in and tell her this was like, somebody's taking this picture. Somebody needed to step in and say,
that was that
hey,
husband they mentioned.
Right. Like that husband's job, that husband's duty. And like, this is all hindsight, was to step in and go, honey, this is a wild creature. It can like, we could build a barn for it or something.
Don't
but like,
bring it in the house.
Right. Yeah.
It's going to trample all over the Bed Bath and Beyond.
Right.
Which it did at around 3 a.m. Jody would let him outside to take care of business. Everything seemed to be going smoothly. However, the illegal aspect of Jody's behavior would catch up with her 2 years later. In 2015, a correctional officer was supervising prisoners cleaning up a nearby roadway. According to Jody, the officer engaged in a staring contest with Weezer. She had a bad feeling about the situation. Not long after this, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, otherwise referred to as ODNR, paid a visit to Jody because the correctional officer had lodged a complaint about the deer. They threatened to kill Weezer, which of course made Jody very upset. She did not understand why they wanted to take him from her when she had been caring for him all this time. There was no way he could go back into the wild at this point, and killing him seemed unnecessary. Jody cried and asked if anything could be done. The ODNR employees left without killing the deer, and officials tried to figure out what to do. Jody was very vocal and contacted the media. Referring to Weezer, she said, "He is my pet and I love
He's
him.
a cool
And
deer,
he views
minus the murdering.
me as a mother, and he
Yeah.
is my baby, and that is how I feel." Jody tried to explain how Weezer was satisfied with his living conditions, saying, quote, "He'll run around and play like he's a big dog. He's happy. He's a very happy, content deer. If he wasn't happy, he wouldn't want to come in the house," unquote. Jody would do anything for Weezer. She defiantly stated, quote, "I am willing
That
to
is
stand in front of
not
Weezer
a
and take a
good
bullet for him,"
logic.
unquote.
If he
Ultimately,
wasn't happy,
Jody
he
was allowed
wouldn't
to
want
keep
to come in the house, even though I keep luring him in with food.
Yeah.
and cared
He's
for
an
other deer on
animal.
her
He's gonna
property.
go anywhere
It is not
that
clear
he
how many
smells
deer she
food.
had, but based on what happens next, one could make a good argument that it was at least one too many. Now moving to the timeline of the incident. On November 15, 2025, at 10:27 p.m., the police responded to a report of an animal attack at Jody's home in Stewartsville. When officers arrived, they found 64-year-old Jody Proger trapped inside an enclosure with a buck she was keeping on her property. The authorities did not indicate the identity of this buck. Whoever the buck was, he had become aggressive and attacked Jody. Family members had attempted to kill the deer, but they were not successful. The
I
police
wonder
shot and
what
killed the
set the
buck and
deer
made their
off.
I
Like
mean,
there must have been
it
some.
probably felt threatened because it sounded like she was in an enclosure with the thing, and it didn't like her being in that small space, and it was freaked
Yeah.
out, and it tried to defend itself or whatever.
Also, this is a wild think about just a dog or a cat. If you raise your voice to a domestic creature, that
Mm.
creature might lash out at you. So I can only imagine like I'm just making an assumption. But like let's say that she was in this enclosure, the deer already felt a little weird. She could have just thought that their relationship was advanced to that point where like maybe the deer did something it wasn't supposed to. And she was like, "Don't do that." And then like
She
that
could
could
have
have just
scolded it, and it killed her.
but like for real, I think that that's a real danger that could have happened.
way to Jody to render aid. She died from her injuries at the scene. The authorities indicated that Jody possessed the appropriate permits for keeping the deer on private land, and no foul play is suspected. 3 days after Jody was killed by the buck, her daughter Jennifer made a post on Facebook. Here is a summary of what she posted. Some of this is paraphrased. Jennifer indicated that news articles were a joke. People should not believe everything they read. Her mother Jody knew the dangers of owning deer and had all the necessary permits. At the time of Jody's death, her husband Tony was in the hospital due to a work accident. This meant that Jody was alone on the farm. The deer that killed Jody escaped his enclosure. How he escaped is not known. Jennifer's husband
So he
Matt searched the
escaped.
property for Jody after Tony was unable to reach her. Matt discovered the buck loose on the property and struggled to get him closed in. Jennifer called 911 as her husband continued looking for Jody. She explained to the operator that she suspected a deer seriously hurt her mother. Matt then informed her that Jody was dead. Jennifer stated that Weezer did not kill Jody. He was neutered per the requirements of the Ohio Department of Natural Resources when Jody received her permit. As I mentioned, the authorities never revealed the identity of the killer buck. At the time I'm making this video, the name of the white-tailed perpetrator remains a mystery. Now moving to my analysis.
So
So she had multiple deer.
She had multiple deer. She had this one deer that she spent a lot of time with, and then she got another deer, a buck, which is a male deer, which is maybe a more aggressive animal, and that thing felt trapped with her in this enclosed space, and it killed her, and then escaped, and it's running free
mean,
through the woods. I'm
yeah,
glad it
like-
got out. I'm glad it didn't get killed. I was nervous that they were going to say the animal people came and put the deer down, but I'm glad that thing escaped.
It's very sad, but I think that this she shouldn't have had she had wild deer and like she had multiple deer. And I can only imagine that like yeah, maybe she raised her voice, like maybe the deer felt threatened like you said. It just seems like there were a lot of bad moves that happened here.
Yeah. And Shannon in the chat was asking how long she had them. I'm not sure, but yeah, through those pictures, you can see the antlers getting longer and longer as that deer got older. So she had that one
Yeah.
deer for a while, a few years, I would guess. Who knows how long she had the buck? Maybe she just started collecting. She's like, oh, I'll get a buck now. And then maybe she found another deer and took that in, and that one wasn't like broken in, and it just wanted to get free, and it did what it had to do.
I mean,
So,
it
yeah.
sounds like the first deer, Weezer. It sounds like maybe that deer was a bit more docile. The one that she had inside the house, seems like it was more docile, and it does sound
Yeah.
like this second deer was probably the one that killed her.
But, like, how
Um,
that first one could have been just as dumb, it could have been just as bad of a decision. You never know which one is gonna hurt you. Like, it shouldn't have any
yeah.
wild animals in your house. Like, this is just a bad idea, lady, and it's sad that she's dead, but what do you expect?
Oh dear.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
there you
it's
go.
a
That's the deer woman.
very sad story, but again, uh these are not domesticated animals. Like this is like whenever I hear a story like this, when you hear somebody, the lady who had her face ripped off by the chimpanzee, somebody who gets killed by like a boa constrictor, somebody who gets bitten by like their rattlesnake or whatever. These are these are undomesticated creatures. These are wild animals that like, they you can still admire these creatures and you can still like care for them without keeping them in a cage. Like these are wild creatures and like
Yeah.
you can like them and you can but you have to like fear and respect them too. Because like yeah, they could, if they feel threatened, they're these are animals with a primordial instinct. They're going to rip your face off.
Yeah. People just wanna touch cute things, and they can't help it.
This yeah. Well, you got to stop touching everything, everybody.
Stop touching everything in the woods. It's gonna
You hear
touch
me,
you back.
everybody?
New tip from Inep, the gift
What?
giver.
Inap with
Thank
the
you, Inep.
Ko-Fi.
Thank you very much for the
Thank you,
direct
Inep.
donation, keeping the show
Thank you,
going.
thank you. Inep says, "Happy holidays, guys. Odd boys forever." Let's go. We are more than a third of the way to having our stocking stuffed for the holiday. By the way, Nathan,
Oh, yeah. Can't wait.
let's go.
Thank
We
you
are
for
gonna
everyone. If
do.
you donate, if you like the show and you watch it every week and you're able
Make
to
sure you
give
like
even
the
a
stream
dollar,
too.
please like the stream. It definitely helps. Please watch the shorts. Our shorts are doing better than they should. The shorts on the YouTube channel are doing well. It's bringing in new people. Our subs are slowly going up. And if you're able to donate even a dollar to the Ko-Fi, the link is in the top of the chat and in the description. That is what truly helps keep the show going. Or do a super chat or become a YouTube member. It all helps us keep going. And we're trying to build this channel. We're just going to keep plugging away at it until it becomes our 9 to 5. So
The biggest
cameraman
pod
had too many buzz balls. There we
the
go.
biggest podcast of all time. That's what's going to happen. Well, eventually, and we've talked about this too. Eventually, we want to do this more than one day a week. But we are still trying. We're still in the growth period here. We're trying to grow it, and
Yeah.
I think the best way to probably grow it for now is to do it the once a week, so we can get the clips out, and then let the
Yep.
clips like bring in more people, and then do the show and like try to grow the show organically, which I think is the
Yeah.
plan.
That's the way to do it for sure. So thank you for being
And
here.
then
Thank
there,
you for those Ko-Fi donations. It really does help. The link is there. $1 will help us, direct donation, because YouTube won't take a fee. Ko-Fi is the better way to support. So thanks.
Mhm, mhm. And then there's all those pesky little things like the dad short movie. I guess you can let the
Mhm.
people know. Is there any progress about the dad movie? Can you give anybody an update before we move on to the
I
next
think
story?
it might be later than I want it to be filming because
What?
I'm talking to all the actors now. It might be March, mid-February to late March is what I'm looking at. I was trying to do it. January is too soon because people are still out of town until like mid-January, and we have to do a lot of building, set building, and build walls, floors, counters, like sort of build like this house.
Mm,
In a studio. So that will take time. I'm meeting with a producer next week that will help me produce the whole thing. A line producer who basically a line producer hires the makeup person, the wardrobe person, the carpenter, all the
yeah.
people, FX people who do special effects, the blood and all that stuff. So meeting them next week. And I think this is who I'm going to work with. I talked to a few people. So I'm just doing all the pre-production, basically planning and preparing. And then some of the actors
New
have the
tip from
script.
Shannon.
So slowly but surely
What?
getting there. Thank you,
Another
Shannon.
another one. Another one. Oh my God, we're only 11% to halfway. Holy cow. Shannon said odd passion. No, odd passions. Odd passion. Wait, is Nathan going to
Ah,
force us to watch Passions?
maybe I'll do that in the marathon. We were talking about doing another marathon stream over here, like a 24-hour oddathon. So maybe we could watch some passions during that.
Maybe there'll
I'm
be a
down.
maybe we'll have a goal since I've never other than you blurped like 15 minutes of the Passions episode. I don't think that Jamie's ever seen Passions.
It's awesome.
So I would say I would rather inject bleach into my eyes.
You're an
However,
idiot.
if there's a goal on the stream, I'll do if there's a goal, I'll do it.
I think you should watch it for free because you would be enhancing
Yeah.
your life and getting some quality entertainment. But I also think we should definitely force Tom to watch it on the subathon. So if we get a certain amount of subs, we can make him watch the show with us for 24 hours. It's an amazing show. It's truly an
Yeah.
amazing show. One of the best things. It's just a fun, good show with good storylines and great special effects.
Aladdin says Crothers in the Dad movie. Crothers is not in the Dad movie.
Brothers is not in it. It's a new storyline, not even the same. The only person that's the same is Dad is named Dad, and I'm playing Dad. But it's a whole new universe, whole new
different
thing. You'll see
characters.
different characters, but
Yeah.
you'll see some of the same I'm using some of the same actors for parts, but
Aladdin says right. I'm
there's
being
no
100%.
Diane.
Yeah, 100% serious. As of right now, unless
Yes, there is no
if
Crothers.
there's no Crothers, and if I can make it, if I happen to be in LA at that time or the budget allows for it, I would do a little cameo thing. But as of right now, no Crothers, and it is a Nathan exclusive project.
It's not based. It's not the YouTube series. I've said
No, it's a
that
totally
before.
different thing. Totally different thing.
In all the fundraising videos and all the explanation videos, I mentioned that this is not the YouTube series, but it will feel and look energy-wise and tone-wise like the YouTube series, but it's bigger and more. It's a different story, new story, but it is just as weird, and it's darker. So there will be similarities because of actors and because of me making it, because I made that series. So it'll be a very similar thing since it's coming from the same person.
It'll still have your vibe because you're involved in it.
And I'm gonna do the music like I did in the series. So it's a whole new thing though. I don't want to just keep doing the YouTube series forever. I want to do something that the mainstream would enjoy. It's still gonna be alternative, but I want to do something that's more like sellable.
But also, you did the YouTube. I think that's the whole thing. You did the YouTube series. You did it.
Yeah. Why would I do?
It's like
this is just. It's also only 20 something minutes long. That's just going to be another YouTube video. You know what I mean? Like this isn't. That's just going to be act 3 of the Dad series. It's the same.
It's a different thing. But just so
longer, but
just in case anybody does, because every once in a while I get that question too. Crothers is not in it, so don't. It's not in it. What we should do is pivot to the next story. And the next story, I'm going to do this story of the dead bodies stolen in Pennsylvania. Nathan, did you hear about this?
I did not.
Okay, so
tell me about tell me, Tom, about the stolen dead bodies in Pennsylvania.
Hold on, let me pull this up before I do this. Okay, so let me tee that up again. Nathan, did you hear that there are dead? You're just being distracted.
My phone lit up and I was like, what was that?
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Nathan, did you hear that dead bodies are going missing in Pennsylvania?
No.
Well, they are. So
crap. Someone better find them.
Somebody hide the dead bodies. So
hide your kids, hide your wife.
So this was last month. There were multiple dead bodies that were stolen from it's a completely dilapidated kind of falling apart cemetery. It's called the Good Shepherd Memorial Mausoleum in Plain Township, Pennsylvania. Police, as far as I know, are still investigating this case, but multiple bodies have disappeared from this mausoleum. And apparently this place, I watched another news story about it, but apparently the cemetery is in an extreme state of disrepair, but multiple bodies have gone missing. So I don't know if Jamie wants to pull up this news story for it so we can watch that, but multiple dead bodies have gone missing in Pennsylvania. It's actually really sad. I saw an image of
Theft and lose.
one of the people, or yeah, before it's a pretty short news clip, but one of the people who disappeared, it was a woman. I think she died in the 70s. But imagine that this is your loved one.
Mm.
And why would you steal? This isn't, these people were interned 50 years ago, 60 years ago. Why would you rip open this mausoleum and steal these dead bodies? What are you
Well,
doing with the dead bodies? Like,
before
what
I
are, what
even before I see it or hear anything about it, what's already reminding me of Ed Gein, the famous psychopath from the 50s who would rob graves, steal their skin, and make masks up from their dead bodies and wear them. He made a suit
yeah.
called the mother suit, where he recreated his mother, and he would do really weird stuff with these people's skin. He also like steal people's underwear and stuff, and he would just steal dead bodies and
I
like
like how you go
recreate
from
people.
I
So
like that. I like how you're like, you know, this guy was real sick. He made masks out of human people's skin and he stole people's underwear.
well, yeah, the two most perverted things ever: sniffing foreigners' underwears and stealing someone's face.
Hmm?
Well, what else was
Uh
it? What else would you do with a dead body if you're gonna steal it? You're probably not doing something wholesome. So that's
I
what I'm
so these
wondering is
would
going on over here.
these bodies would have been like these would have been skeletons. Like this would have been this is like the and I saw an image of this woman.
Yeah,
She was like an
70s,
old
they're
woman.
decomposed.
And this was like an old woman. One of the bodies that disappeared was an old woman. And like, what are you doing with the body of this poor old woman? And like, at this point, it wouldn't have even been a body. It would have just been a skeleton.
Maybe
What are
they're
you
doing
doing
like
with this?
maybe they're like a super goth and they're just like making stuff out of bones, making a table.
I don't know. But let's check out this news story. This is from Philadelphia, the Philadelphia news affiliate of CBS.
Now
Okay.
to a shocking theft in Luzerne County to tell you about this morning. Police are looking for whomever stole the remains of two people from a mausoleum. Police believe the theft happened at Good Shepherd Memorial Mausoleum. This is in Plains Township.
It's like
It
they
happened
ripped
sometime
the
between
doors right
November
off.
1st
Oh, you
and
can just
6th.
smash the brick and then take them.
Yeah.
They're right
Yeah.
behind. I didn't realize that they were just right behind that wall. That's easy access, honestly.
It's just like a
The
mausoleum.
town
And
boarded up
like
the
for
mausoleum.
before, yeah, I see that Jamie paused it. So this cemetery was in an extreme state of just, and other things had been stolen from
It
the
doesn't
cemetery
look very well
recently.
kept up.
No, I think it's like kind of an abandoned cemetery, but it does watching this story, it did make me go, oh yeah, I'm like, this is where everybody, like, you die. And like, how sad is it that this was somebody's mother, this was somebody's sister, um, this was somebody's daughter, and they ended up in this final resting place, and
Mm,
they're being defiled by some like sicko who
yeah,
is
it's
just
weird.
breaking into this mausoleum to do god knows what. And it's crazy. Like, why would you do this?
Yeah. I don't want to sound insensitive because, yes, it is someone's body that was held and loved and cuddled at one point, and that's the physical remains of that person, and those memories are still attached for the living people now. But I myself look at it as like there's such a separation. Once the person passes on, that body is just an object. It's just rock. It's just dirt. It's not them anymore. They are floating off somewhere else. But not everyone can think that way. So yeah, this
But
is
it's also
pretty
like what,
offensive.
but so you can have that mentality with this, but you also wouldn't have the thought of, I could really break into this mausoleum and then steal these bones. Like, that's a
Yeah.
whole other level of
Well,
like,
whether I have the thought or not, I wouldn't do it.
you wouldn't
But
do it.
yeah,
Wait,
I could see it. I
wait,
mean,
wait,
I've
wait, wait, wait,
seen.
wait.
I've
Are you
had the thought
telling
of
me?
like
You're
when
telling
I'm
me
in the
you're
walk,
thinking about
like when
breaking
I
into a
could.
cemetery, stealing some bones?
I literally just broke into a cemetery on this channel with you and Jamie a month ago. And when I'm in there, I often have the thought of like, there's only this much material between me and this dead body. There's like a thin layer of dirt on top of them, and I'm standing on top of it. If I could just put my hand through that matter of just some sand and some squishy dirt, I would be touching them. I think that
I mean,
stuff all the
they're
time. But
six
doesn't mean I'm
feet.
gonna do it. It's not 6 feet
There's,
though. It's
I
not
mean,
6 feet of dirt between the people. Sometimes the bottom of the grave is 6 feet, but then with the casket, the cement lid, the amount of dirt, it's like they're then up to the top. It's I dug graves. I was a grave digger. They're not that far down. Anyway,
But
the point is,
you
you
would
think like,
never
oh,
steal
I
you
could
would never
easily
steal
grab that
somebody's
person if I
bones.
just. No, I wouldn't. I don't want anyone's bones. I got my own to deal with. So
Right. I think that it's alarming that somebody thought that this was a good idea. Somebody was like, you know what? Like somebody woke up, they put on their shoes, they put on their this is the middle of winter, it's snowing out there.
I'm gonna
They
go
put on their
steal
jacket.
somebody.
Yeah, you know what I'm gonna go do? I'm gonna go steal the bones of an old lady.
Yeah,
And it's like,
I haven't
why?
done
Why
that
like
today.
why? Yeah, you know what I could really what would really tie the room together? A human skull.
Yeah,
And like
it was probably
who
teenagers, honestly, who don't have the moral compass, and they just smashed something. They go, "Whoa, there's bones! Oh, grab them, Chad! Grab the bones! I dare
it
you!"
it sounds like Luzerne County has a street tough problem.
They got a hood rat situation.
But yeah, we should finish.
Just want
We'll
to do
finish
hood
this.
rat things with our hood rat friends.
I mean, this is beyond. This is next level. I think.
After discovering the
Yeah.
remains were stolen, residents say they are extremely disturbed.
Township needs to step up. Somebody needs to step up in authority and do something about this. This is wrong.
Because she's
steal
thinking,
a
I'm
body?
gonna be in there
I mean,
soon, and
this
I don't
isn't
want
ri-
anyone taking me out.
I mean, I don't want anybody stealing my bones either. I
She's
want my
like,
bones staying right where they are.
fix this before I go in there.
It's. I think that this story there's a certain
We should like
there's a
go. We're
there is
talking
a
so
level of
much.
there is a level of respect, and like I think that like this is very disrespectful to somebody.
Yeah.
Right. It's awful.
It is. Police have not released any further information about the crime, but they're asking anyone who may know anything to contact them.
I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
they did these people a favor because look at the condition of where they were staying. That is not the Motel 8. That's the Motel -4.
I mean, Motel 8's pretty bad. It's not that.
Yeah, but that's even
It's
worse.
not that much better. But yeah, I thought this story was pretty. I'm very
It's odd.
curious. It's very odd. Oh yeah,
It's
is
certified.
this certified odd?
Yeah,
Okay, this story is
ask
this
me
story
again.
this story is certified odd. I don't know
Certified
what
odd
they're
for
doing.
sure.
I don't know what they're doing with the bot. I want to keep up with the story because I want to know who took the body.
I'll tell you what's going on. Satanic panic. All those goth teens out there doing ceremonies with these old ladies' bones.
They're not. You're just this is the problem. This is why people like Damien Eccles ended up going to prison in the first place, because you're contributing to the paranoia and the mass hysteria of the puritanical right-wingers who are gullible for this sort of thing.
You be the
Is
judge.
this is the beginning of your right-wing grift. You're
No.
you're starting down that path, aren't you?
I'm just starting the YouTube drama.
I'd shook your brain around too much. Now you're starting down the right-wing grift.
Yeah. Oops.
This story is certified odd. We'll keep an eye on it. I am very
See if those
disturbed by
bones
this story.
turn up. Maybe they'll bring them back.
Would you like to take the next story? Would you like to choose the next one down is well, I guess you could choose the next one.
Yeah. Oh, this is funny. Okay, so we only have like 2 more technically. I found this one, so I'll do this one, the bear one, Jamie.
Happening now.
See, Endred agrees. Nathan's on his way down the alt-right pipeline. See, I've
Never.
been calling it.
Never.
This is what no, this is what
Tom, you're
happened.
the one who would be sooner to go down that road because you're the one who talks about politics.
Yeah, but I don't trust anything or anybody.
That's what the right wingers did, and then they become right wingers.
No,
they don't trust the government. I trust Donald Trump. He's a celebrity.
Yeah, but the right wingers love the government. They love the government now. They love the Republican.
Yeah, they thought because they said the swamp got drained. Now that they got Trump in there,
But now they are the swamp. If anything, I've gone even further left.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You think you go so far left, you come back around the other side. So you better be careful.
I will say you are a, this is like not meant to be an insult. I would say that you are a slightly left of center Democrat. I don't think that you're
Not at all.
Jamie.
No.
I need a second opinion here.
I am solid left. I'm not far left. I'm solid left. I'm definitely not center. And
I think you're Joe
nowhere
Biden.
near right. You're an idiot. I am a Bernie fan all the way. Whatever Bernie says is what should happen. That's how I feel. And Bernie is not.
Bernie
No, but
is center left.
Bernie's super center.
European
Biden
wise.
This is Biden. Biden center. Bernie's here, and then you got like the crazies over here, the Antifa or whatever.
No, but the thing about Bernie, I like Bernie. I like Bernie a lot. But Bernie, if you took Bernie and you put him into a European country, Bernie would be a moderate.
Yes, I know. I understand that because Europe's different than here.
But that's what Tom's saying to you, Nathan. You're that
you're a moderate.
Left. Yeah,
no, because
moderate.
Bernie is not moderate. Biden,
but he is a moderate.
Moderate.
In American terms, but like by European, which is kind of just
I'm going by
rest
American
of the
terms because that's where I live. I gotta go by that. Yeah,
but that's what Tom's going by. Is what you're basically center left.
No.
Yeah, I'm saying you're center.
I don't care what
left.
I am, but if I think Bernie's a good guy and he would be the great president, that's how I feel. No matter where he is, that's what I feel. I don't care what it's called. I am definitely not a center. I'm not. You're acting like I'm independent or something.
No, I think center. I think center left is fine. I'm just saying I believe that I am further. Like I think that my politics are further left than yours are.
Sure, but I don't know what they would be because I agree with you on like everything. So I don't really know what that would be, and I don't know why we have to state the differences in what we believe.
No,
I think there should be free healthcare. I think everyone should be able to marry and love who they want. I think there should be no discrimination against people from what they wear, what they want to call themselves, what they want to do. So I don't know how I'm center. If that's not central. I think there's not people in the center aren't even really accepting of all those ways of life. And I am not like that. So
I think that, well, that's why I say center left. I think that you have, I'm just
left. I think there's too many degrees now. It's like, oh, you're center left.
Yeah,
deep left,
I guess
I'm just left leaning. That's all I am.
I guess I think of it more like a spectrum, but like I do think that like there doesn't need to be like a this degree. I think of it like a spectrum.
Yeah, it feels like it's a competition now. It's like, well, I'm more left than you. It's like, I don't give a crap what you are. I think everyone should have free healthcare and have good jobs. And
you know what happened, Nathan?
That's it. And you gotta smooch who you want to smooch.
You know what happened? We went woke. We woke up.
We can't be having these conversations.
Sure, we can. This is what
I don't like the politics talk.
But that's what makes you center, because you don't want to talk about it.
No, because this isn't what the show is. The show is about paranormal.
This is odd politics. We got to put this. We got to put you in the frying pan and watch you sizzle. That's where the entertainment is. You got to put you right there and watch you go.
Brings up politics again, you guys. I think I get to fire him.
No.
The only reason I say that is not because I don't want to talk about it personally. It's because I don't think that's the show.
Let me ask the chat this. If we get one super chat, that means that we should talk about odd politics.
That means one person who wants to troll.
If we get a single super chat, that means we have to do odd politics. We have to put Nathan into the frying pan and watch him sizzle. So we'll see if we get one more super chat on the show. It just means that Nathan. That's exactly what it means. It's the political cryptids. That's what we have to talk about. What political party do you think Bigfoot is a part of?
The Chaos Party.
The Chaos. See, Eshin just did it. That means
trolling. Yeah, because Eshin's trolling. Oh my God.
See, this is why people want odd politics.
Yeah, we'll get all 2 viewers over on the politics channel.
No, I don't. I think that I'm more politically aware. I think you're pretty politically aware. I'm not saying that you're not.
I know everything's going on.
Yeah, I think that I pay attention a little bit more, but I also don't think that
you have no idea how many videos I watch 24/7 throughout the day as I'm driving, That's all
I'm
I
not
do is inform
discrediting. Yeah,
myself
yeah,
on
yeah.
everything that's going on.
I'm not discrediting you. I think that you pay attention to it too. But I also think that neither of us are experts on politics. So I think that we can on this
No.
show,
I'd
I think
say
if
I'm
some
incredibly well informed. Not even just like I know what's going on. I think I'm incredibly well informed on everything that's happening in the
incredibly
world,
well
in the
informed.
politics. Yes, I will say that. And I used to think in the past I was someone who just I
Oh, cool. Well, what's your
sort of
political
know what's
take
going
on
on. I know who I'm
Saudi
voting
Arabia?
for at least. But now I hear literally everything, even the things that aren't even newsworthy because they're running out of things to talk about. I'm like watching, listening to those things. It's become a problem. So all I do is listen to it. That being said, I'm not disinterested in it. I just don't think that this channel is
Yeah.
where we should then recycle that
Well,
information.
what I was going to say is I think neither of us are like expert enough on the ins and outs of politics that we have enough to do a show on it.
Well, I think you and I probably know everything that's going on, but maybe we don't have the expertise in how to articulate how we feel about these things that are happening. So maybe it's
Right. I'm
not
not
the
a
best to
political.
talk about.
I'm not a political science person. Like neither
Yeah,
of us went to school for journalism or anything. But I think that we're both I think we're both fairly informed
I think we're
on.
informed for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're trying to
Uh,
make me sound like I'm over here as an undecided voter.
No, I just said my main point is that to go all the way. I was making a joke about Nathan going. Nathan's not. I was making a joke about Nathan going down which I was going to articulate on that further. That a lot, which is I think is really weird, but a lot of retro game people, and without naming any names, there's a lot of them. There's a bunch of them. A lot of retro game people have eventually gone down the alt right pipeline, which is very
Oh, that's a
strange.
bummer.
But I think that it's just a lot of these like retro game people, I think they've gotten older and I think they've lost their audiences. And I think now they've gone down like that rabbit hole, which is like, if that's how they want to make their content, that's, fine. But that was the joke that I was making. But no, you're definitely on the progressive side. And Bernie is progressive as well. But I think Bernie, and the point that Jamie brought up is that if you dropped Bernie into another country, Bernie wouldn't even be progressive. He'd be a moderate. And that shows you
Yeah.
how backwards American politics like are, where somebody like Bernie, who Bernie's a great guy, I would have voted for him. I think that like the things that he was trying to do, like Medicare for all and raising the minimum wage, free education, I think would have been great. But all of those things are just already happening in Europe. And
Yeah.
like he's like, look at all of these
Well,
other
yeah, because America's
countries.
behind very much on a lot of common things that the rest of the world is doing.
And to put into perspective about Bernie's views, he literally said very recently that Trump has done a much better job than any of the other presidents on immigration and the border. So he's agreeing with Trump on that side of stuff, even though he's wrong, but he believes that Trump has done a good job on cracking down on immigration.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Wow.
he's not as progressive as like even when I first heard about Bernie, I thought of him as this like super radical fringe government operative. But then like the more that you kind of look into it, you're like, oh, not really. You're like he's just more progressive than they are. But like he's
Yeah.
really
Which
not
is
he's
better
really
than
not
others,
even
obviously, for
he's
sure.
better than I think he's better than others. He's very consistent with his messaging and he's definitely better than most of what they've got. But I think somebody like AOC she would be considered an actual progressive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's
I
like a
like
more
AOC.
yeah, that's a more progressive candidate. But anyway, we'll move away from politics. We'll move away from politics, everybody, even though
You
Eshin
just need to
donated
start.
$1.
You need to start your own politics channel because you talk about it a lot. I think it's something you want to talk about.
No, not really. I just want to talk about Silent Hill.
Start a Silent Hill channel too. Then
I
on
also want to start
everything.
I also want to start a Baldur's Gate podcast.
Good game.
I was talking to Jamie about that earlier, where I think Baldur's Gate 3 has ruined me for other video games. I think that game was so complete on so many different levels and so masterful that
Wait,
other
what
video
game?
games that
Baldur's
Baldur's
Gate?
Gate 3. Yeah.
Your favorite game in the
I
world?
I think it was so masterfully done that I don't think that any other game, really specifically RPGs, but also like most other games, I don't think that anything lately is good. Like anything that I've played since then, new release, I'm like, nothing is even coming close to touching how great this experience was.
That's crazy because you used to be your favorite games were Final Fantasy and Resident Evil, and now it's Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate. You know, we should turn this channel into a Baldur's Gate channel.
No, we could call it Odd Gate.
Called Oddgate. Okay, let's do
We'll
this.
talk about the odd things.
Nathan,
in
you had a
Baldur's
story.
Gate.
You had a story about a bear.
I did. Do you want to hear it?
I do. Can you tell me about your bear?
Well, Tom, it finally happened.
What happened?
I can't bear to tell you, but here we go. A 500-pound bear here in Los Angeles found its way down the hill and tried to stuff itself into a crawl space beneath the house. What looks like a basement, but it's not. It's just like the 2 feet between the bottom floor and the dirt of a house out here in LA where the fires were. This bear, what is the town? I'm spacing. Oh my gosh, we have to cut this out.
You know what this sounds like, Nathan?
What is the stupid area? It's right next to Pasadena. I'm spacing. My brain is like, I'm there all the time. I was there yesterday. Altadena.
Glendale?
Gosh dang, I couldn't think of the word.
Oh, Altadena. You know what this sounds
we
like,
gotta do some
Nathan?
editing, whoever uploads this short.
This sounds like a pretty hairy story.
It is. And I'll tell you where it all went down. In Altadena, California, where a lot of people who aren't from California might have heard of recently because that's where the fires were. One of the 2 areas where the fires were, Altadena, right next to Pasadena. This bear came down from the mountain and started just living underneath this guy's house. And he couldn't get the bear out because the thing was freaking huge. So it was pretty odd, if you ask me. Let's see what's going on over there in Altadena.
You know what I was doing when I was in Altadena? When I was in Altadena, I drank a Zima after I put on my Noxzema.
That was the dumbest joke.
Here, you're looking at a large bear somehow squeezing itself into and out of a tiny crawl space under a home. A homeowner facing a serious problem today, saying the stubborn animal won't leave. Eyewitness News reporter Josh Haskell live in Altadena with more on the video and what is being done today, Josh.
Why did the bear think it was a good idea? I mean, I'm asking a question about a bear. Why do you think the bear thought this was a good idea? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to squeeze into this drainage ditch.
Well, I think the bear, it's winter, hibernation time coming. If they do that out here in Southern California, it does get cold in those mountains above LA, and it snows. There's snow up there right now. You can see it. And it came down probably to find somewhere. And since the forest fires happened, there's like no forest where this bear probably was. This is my guess. And it found this hole and wanted to get inside it. It looked like a good hibernating spot. It couldn't quite fit.
The bear right now is underneath that home behind me. How do I know that? Well, throughout the day, we've had looky-loos, all sorts of people come by here trying to get close. And that is when, from our vantage point here, we've heard a loud roar. That's when those folks have been running right back towards us. Crawl spaces under homes can be tight.
I'd be afraid to be this reporter. Be like, oh, if this bear gets out of there, he's going to kill me.
Look at this thing. It's huge. How is it getting in and out of there?
Miss Altadena bear has made the narrow space under Ken Johnson's home a den for the winter.
That's a man in a suit. It's not a bear. It's a man in a suit.
It kind of looks like it.
Kinda.
The bear is famous in this neighborhood along Altadena Drive below the San Gabriel Mountains because it's been spotted almost every week for over 6 months. Some residents believe the Eden fire destroyed its home, which is why it now roams their neighborhood looking for shelter and food.
Hanging out with a coyote.
Had a bear, and I hear now there's one across the street, and it's in the mountains, and we burned, so they had to go somewhere. They had no.
That's what I'm thinking. Where are they gonna? It's not the first one, and this neighborhood literally got destroyed. Like the mountains are gone, so the bear's got to go somewhere.
It was displaced.
Nice dark basements, perfect place.
But the size of this particular bear who is tagged concerns Johnson, who is working on a plan to draw the bear out of the crawl space, then block the entrance with sandbags.
It's terrifying. I have to stop shaking when moments ago. I'm starting to get used to it, but it sounds like a dragon.
It's coming around, and I think it's just a matter
I mean, yeah,
of
the
time
bear's
something's going to happen.
huge, probably.
They're that bold to get under the house, and I've talked to people up the street, and they've had the same thing. The bear has torn the door out, and they go in there.
Johnson has reached out to the California Department of Fish and Wildlife, who says they're aware of the situation and will determine the next steps, which could include capturing the bear and transporting it back up to the mountains.
Keep your distance as much as you can. Make sure that you're giving the bear enough space to escape. That's a huge element. Bears don't want to be around us any more than we want to be around them. And if they feel like they're cornered, that could be a problem. But if they see an escape route, they're going to take it. And then you also just want to make sure that you're being loud, making yourself big, waving your hands around, and slowly backing away.
And Fish and Wildlife also says that securing crawl spaces, especially during this time of year, during the colder months,
Yeah,
is
it's pretty
extremely
crazy.
important. Live in Altadena, Josh Haskell, ABC 7
Yep,
Eyewitness.
there it is.
Happening.
I
That's
would,
a
I
that's
will
a-
say that story is certified sad, not odd, because the bear needs a home.
yeah, the bear thought it was a cave or something, and it got displaced by the fires. I think that's a very good story.
Okay, good joke.
I could barely contain myself the entire time.
All
I was
right,
watching
all
it.
right, all right.
I couldn't bear leave what I was seeing
Do you want to take the next one?
the entire time. I
Is this
do.
zombie thing old, and then the cremation one?
Let's
The
take
whale
the
one is old.
the whale one is old. Jamie, let's do the woman found alive story. Nathan, did you hear that a woman was recently found alive when she was taken to a Buddhist temple for her cremation?
Someone took their sleeping grandma to the funeral early.
So, sort of. So, a woman in Thailand was found alive in her coffin that had been transported to a Buddhist temple. She was saved from, they were going to donate her organs and cremate her body because her brother didn't have a death certificate. And when they brought this, it was a 65-year-old woman. I'm gonna mispronounce this. I don't even know if I should try to pronounce this. I can't. Phitsanulok, the province of Phitsanulok, to be cremated, and they brought this woman's body in to be cremated, and then the workers inside the crematorium heard a faint knocking coming from inside the coffin.
That must have been so scary.
It's crazy. And then the quote here is, quote, "I was a bit surprised, so I asked them to open the coffin and everybody was startled. I saw her opening her eyes slightly and knocking on the side of the coffin. She must have been knocking for some time."
Oh my God.
So she was bedridden for about 2 years and had seemingly become unresponsive, and she appeared to stop breathing. And so they assumed that she was dead. So the brother placed her in a coffin, and then she was sent about 300 miles to a hospital in Bangkok, where a woman had previously expressed a wish to donate her organs. So she had previously said that when I die, I want to donate my organs. They sent her to the crematorium to remove the organs and to be cremated, and that's when they heard the knocking. So it's crazy, and she was found to be alive. And the temple manager said that while they were explaining how to obtain this death certificate because she was missing it, which is why they didn't just cremate her right away, that's when they heard the knocking. So all through this like trial of errors, if they had had the appropriate paperwork when they brought her in, she would have just been, her organs would have been removed and she would have been cremated.
Oh
And
my
it's only
God.
because she
They
was
would have murdered
missing
her.
they would have murdered her. And it was only because she was missing the appropriate paperwork that they left her body there to sit, and she started knocking like, let me out, because that's all that she had the strength to do.
She saved
And
her life.
she saved her own life. And the abbot at the temple said that they would now pay for all of her recovery expenses in hospital. So she's now, because of this Buddhist temple, they're going to pay for her rehabilitation for her hospital bills, but they assumed she was dead and she wasn't.
I gotta hear this.
A woman in Thailand surprised temple staff when she started moving in her coffin after being brought in for cremation. Wat Rat
Oh my
Pragon
God,
Tham,
that's
a
her.
Buddhist temple in Nonthaburi province outside Bangkok,
She's in the freaking casket.
posted a video on
crazy.
its Facebook page on Sunday showing a woman lying in a white coffin, slightly moving her arms and head, leaving temple staff bewildered. The temple's manager said the 65-year-old
They almost
woman's
cremated
brother
her.
brought her in, believing she was
Wait,
dead.
rewind that real
Staff at the
quick. Did she
temple-
say the 65-year-old woman?
She's 65, yeah.
The temple's manager said the 65-year-old woman's brother
She's
brought
only
her
65?
in, believing she was dead.
I mean,
Staff at the
she'd
temple-
been sick for some time. She'd been sick for
65.
some.
She looks older than 65, but from what I can see. And her brother brought her in. He's like, oh, she's dead. Get rid of her. She didn't take her to the hospital?
I think she had previously, he just assumed that she was dead. But yeah, this is crazy. And if it wasn't for her self-preservation and deciding to knock on the side of the coffin, they would have just harvested her organs and then cremated her body.
I mean, she would have moved if they started cutting into her, probably.
I mean, maybe, but yeah,
If she was knocking. Yeah. Oh my God, this is insane.
This is one of my did you ever see the movie Scrooged?
Yeah.
You know when Bill Murray's character is like put into the crematorium and he's like, I'm still alive, I'm still alive, I'm still alive, and he's like banging on the thing while they're burning his body alive. That's like legitimately one of my fears, and that almost happened to this lady.
Yeah. Well, you better not sleep too long. Al was gonna throw you in a furnace. Well, he hasn't woken up in 12 hours. He must be dead.
I'm gonna put it out there right now that if Nathan or anybody, Alba, Jamie, if anybody ever brings my body in to be cremated, I'm alive. Don't do it. Everybody in the chat,
Even
don't
if I'm
do it.
dead,
They're trying,
I'm alive.
Even if I'm dead, I'm alive. They're just trying to silence the truth. They're just upset because I made too many bear puns in the last story and they want to get rid of me.
He knows too much. We can't let him live.
I know too much. They're just trying to get rid of me. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them, everybody. I'm gonna say this story is certified very scary.
Yeah. Certified odd that the brother would just dump her off at the cemetery and not bring her to the hospital.
Here, burn her body.
Yeah, she's done. Bye-bye.
She's done for. I guess always make sure that the person you bring into the crematorium is actually dead. But like not to devil's advocate here, this woman, according to the news story that I read, she had been bedridden and very sickly for multiple years. And I think she had which is why she looks so frail and emaciated. And when the brother checked her breathing was he claimed that she stopped breathing. So I assumed that her breathing was also very shallow. So I think that he just checked her and it was like, oh, I guess she passed. But also, yeah, it's like they wouldn't like check her heartbeat. They wouldn't check her vitals. They wouldn't. I guess they just assumed that she had passed. I assumed she had been very sickly.
Yeah. I mean, it happens. It's a shame. Human error. Oops. Oops. Didn't know you were alive. Oops,
we almost burned your
grandma.
body.
Oh,
all right. Do you want to take this next story?
What's the next one? I don't even know.
So I would say we should do
the whale's an old thing.
We should do one more. If you want to take this story as the final story, this is actually crazy. This is ongoing right now. there is an Olympic snowboarder.
Oh, that one.
He's a Canadian.
You might want to do it because I don't know about this. You should just tell it, I think.
Okay, let me pull this up. We'll do this as the last story for
Yeah,
tonight.
we should do the last one because I do have to. Tomorrow is the year anniversary with Katie, and I have to get stuff in order.
Also, oh yeah, everybody, it's Nathan's. Everybody should support only if they're able to. But if you'd like to wish Nathan and Katie with a super chat or a membership, he could do something fancy with Katie on their 1-year anniversary. It was just our anniversary, Alba and I. It was our anniversary a couple of days ago, as a matter of fact. We've been married for 5 years.
You've been married for 5 years.
I've been married. I've been a married man for 5 years. It was just our 5th anniversary a couple of days ago.
Oh wow, that's interesting. Yeah, because it's similar time to Katie and I.
And there's too many parallels here. This is like Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy. And your birthday is 1 week before Alba's birthday.
It is your birthday near Katie's.
When's Katie's birthday?
End of May.
Yeah, mine's the beginning of June.
Oh my gosh.
That is
Oh yeah,
weird.
wasn't yours like June 6th or something?
June 4th.
June 4th, so it is. Oh,
that is weird.
Yeah, yours
yeah.
Is,
So
hers is like 10 days before yours.
Yeah.
Wow. Me and Alba are near each other, and you and Katie are near each other.
Yeah, you're a week apart from Alba. So yeah, that is weird.
And our anniversaries are a week apart.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much.
But yeah, everybody, please make sure you wish Nathan. Also, you can wish Nathan a happy anniversary by liking this stream.
Please
make sure you like the stream. Make sure you like the
stream.
Keep
Odd Boys going. Keep
us going forever.
We're sticking it out. We're going through. I said in the beginning that I would do this until the end of the year. The end of the year is coming. So we'll see what to reevaluate how we're doing at the end of the year and see what our plan is going forward and how to keep pushing this so that it grows.
Well, I think our plan is, and producer Jamie can chime in as well if he would like. I think our plan is on this next marathon, our contracts will be in peril. And if we're gonna have a members goal on the marathon. And if our members goal is not met, our contracts won't be renewed.
Dun dun dun.
This could be the end.
Endrend. It's funny you say that. My parents, their wedding anniversary is January 6th as well, and they hate that their anniversary is synonymous with that fateful day of a bunch of rednecks being idiots.
It's like tainted now. Yeah. Well, let's move on to this. Let's do the final story of the evening. Also, thank you everybody in the chat for this has been a fun show. All of these shows are fun. I really like doing this. It's different than just streaming a game.
It's way more fun than the other streams of just like streaming whatever else we used to do. This is like a show that was fun to make and put on.
I'll also add
we have
what Tom was obviously saying about the next, if we do the marathon stream, our contracts will be in peril, and that will be a fight to keep a contract going for another 6 months.
Yeah,
but we would have to
renew our contracts. Yeah, so hopefully we got to figure out when to do that marathon stream. I have so much going on in December. It's a bit stressing out, but I could probably try to squeeze it in somewhere. I'm doing a live show on the 21st with Tig Notaro. She asked me to be a part of her show. Yeah.
Oh,
so
congratulations.
Thank you. I'm coming up with a bit and performing a bit right now.
Are you just doing stand-up, or are you doing it in character?
I'm doing like a whole act. It's gonna be like a dance, physical comedy Christmas bit that I've come up with. Her kids are a big fan of mine, I just learned, so she wanted me to be a part of the show. So anyway, I'm doing that, and then we have the anniversary stuff all this weekend, and then I'm going to Massachusetts on the 23rd. So I'm just trying to like and I've been on like 100 job interviews lately. I've been going to I went to a job interview last night, like a regular job outside of YouTube. I did 3 the past like week and a half, so I'm trying to get stuff. I just need money. I gotta earn money. It's not happening anymore. And I don't mean to be this to be the place I'm dumping all this information, but it's just falling
No,
out
I
of my
think that
face.
I think everybody here is like understanding, and I think like Jamie and I also obviously understand it, but I think the chat also understands it because it's like I think that Jamie and I are in a similar place where it's like obviously we would like to do more things that are just like entertainment or like making more videos, but we
Yeah.
also have to everybody also has to be able to pay their bills too. So
Yeah.
we're trying to figure out the best ways to like keep doing that stuff.
Yeah. Times are tough, and I know it's that way for everybody. So, and that being said, I don't know when to do the marathon, but we can talk about it after the stream and figure out best day.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
If we're trying for December, that is.
Uh
So
okay, let's do this. Let's do this
Rob,
last story. This
seriously, I would, and I was actually going to ask you. I almost messaged you about that,
wait,
Rob,
what?
for real. I've messaged a lot of people about who I can work with. I would
Come
sell
sell
hot
hot
tubs with
tubs.
you, Rob, but I think you're in Canada.
Yeah, Rob's in Canada. I don't think that would. I don't. It's a nice offer, but
I
I don't
just
know
need
if
a
that would work.
job. I'll
You know
take
what?
it. I'll
Have
do
you
it.
tried? You know what would hire you like instantly, or at least from what I hear, would hire people like instantly. I know that Amazon is always hiring, but like that's
Yeah, the
also working for
warehouse.
Amazon.
I
Yeah.
applied for that and I didn't hear anything. I also applied at Disneyland for a couple of jobs, that warehouse forklift moving boxes around, and I didn't get them. They said no. They sent me email said we're not considering you at this time. And I was like, what? This is the dumbest job in the world. And I've done every labor job under the sun, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
It's been 19 years since I've had a regular job outside of
I remember
acting.
California Pizza Kitchen.
Yep, that was it. 2007 was the last. I got
Yeah.
fired on Easter, and I didn't need. I got fired because I wasn't going in enough, and I was getting my shifts covered by other waiters because I was booking acting jobs all the time. I was in commercials all the time, so I was ready to quit, and then they fired me, and I was like, "Well, it's the perfect way to stop working a regular job is to be fired." And the first time I ever got fired from a job, and I thought never going back. 19 years later, I'm coming
Getting
back.
fired is such a weird thing. I don't have any like awful stories about being fired, and this is like side tangent. I don't have any awful stories about being fired, but I do have one where like I went to work, uh, and this is the only time that I've been like, you really had me go all the way here. I went to work. I was working at a coffee place, and I went to work, and the manager was like waiting for me outside and being like, "Oh, hey, before you go in, can I talk to you real quick?" And I was like,
Mm.
sure. And they like had my like last check and they were like, yeah, so you're fired. And I was like, you
Oh,
made me come. I was like, you made me come all the way here. I'm like, why didn't you just mail me my check? And they're like, well, I wanted to tell you in person. And I was like, you made me waste my time and come all the, I was like, why? I was like, just tell me I'm fired and mail me my check. And I think that
wow.
that was the only time I've ever been like upset, I think getting fired. I've only been fired a couple of times in
Yeah.
my life. But just the fact that they made me waste my time and go to work and
Yeah,
not
that's
just mail me
annoying.
my check. But they're like, well, I wanted to tell you in like, I guess they were trying to be like the
They're trying to be
bigger,
respectful. Yeah.
right. But I was like, it would have been more respectful to not have me like waste my time and just mail me my check.
I think there's never a good way to fire someone. Someone's always going to complain about it. Someone would rather have a text. Some people would probably want to hear it in person. Some people, I don't want any confrontation
Yeah.
at all. Just send me a letter.
I just want them to, yeah, if I'm going to get fired, just mail me my check. Don't even, what, why am I going to,
Yeah.
why am I going to waste my gas to like drive over? Just mail it to me.
Yeah.
Just call me and be like, yeah, don't come into work. Sleep in today. What, take the day off because you're fired.
Question though, how long is the Olympic one is this gonna be a big story? Because I am stressing about the time right now.
No,
'Cause
this is, I'll go through it really quick. Just to,
okay.
so, but because this is like an ongoing case, so we should cover it so we can get a clip out of it.
Okay.
Nathan.
Yes,
Did
Tom.
you hear that there is an Olympic snowboarder turned drug kingpin that has been charged in the death of a federal witness?
I have not, and I don't want to sidetrack too much, but I did hear a story about this former football star that turned a drug kingpin. That's the whole documentary on. So it's not too odd for me to hear something like this because I think that's just a road some people take. Some people in the sports world love selling
Yeah.
drugs, apparently.
I guess so. So apparently it's a former Olympic snowboarder who officials now say he runs with a drug cartel, one of the most violent drug trafficking organizations in the world. His name is Ryan James Wedding. He placed a bounty on a witness's head in the quote, erroneous belief that the victim's death would result in the dismissal of criminal charges against him and the international drug trafficking ring. So basically, there was, I believe he was a Canadian snowboarder. I think that he competed in the 2002. Do you remember the Salt Lake City Games, the
Yeah.
Olympic Games? So he competed in the 2002 Olympics in Salt Lake City for Canada, and through the years, he is now working for a I'm trying to see the name of it here. I don't see the name of it, but he now works for a Mexican drug cartel, and he excuse me, I'll redo that. Choking a little bit here. Too much talking.
Too
Um
much truth. Too much odd
there's
truth.
there's too much truth. So basically, this guy, he was an Olympic snowboarder, and through the years, he somehow became a drug trafficker, and he put out a hit on a federal witness. The witness was fatally shot at a restaurant before he could testify against him, and he is now wanted for murder. He's still on the run.
Wow. Oh my gosh. So yeah,
Yeah.
this
So
is
if you want to run that,
ongoing.
this is ongoing. Yeah. If you want to run that story, there should be a video, but this is a breaking news story. This is a former Olympic snowboarder turned drug trafficker who's he's like Pablo Escobar. He's ordering hits on people. People are getting murdered. Like, it's crazy.
Wow. This is similar. I wonder if it's because of just like one thing leads to another. You take an enhancement drug for your sport. You have teammates and friends who are also in the sport that want that stuff. The documentary I was watching, I can't remember the guy's name, but it might have been Owen Hansen.
Is that Aaron Hernandez?
I don't know.
The
guy was from
Patriot?
Southern
The Patriots play?
No, he was
I'm
from
thinking of a
Southern
different person.
California. He played on the team that OJ Simpson played on, that college team, USC or whatever, the Trojans. Owen Hansen, I'm pretty sure is his name, is the guy. And one thing led to another. He started taking stuff. He went down to Mexico to take like steroids to enhance himself, to get on the team, to then thrown in the game because he could run faster or whatever. And then other guys would start asking him for stuff. He started getting stuff, and then he just started making money off of it. And then he focused on that a little bit more than the sport. And then he got fully involved with that, and that's just what he did now. And now he's working for the cartel. So I'm wondering if a similar thing happened with this guy after the Olympics. He doesn't snowboard as much. He's less involved. But
I mean, it was 20. He was a snowboarder 20. He's in his 40s now, so he was a snowboarder 20 years ago.
Yeah, so maybe it has nothing to do with his previous, sporting life. It just he just became a drug kingpin because he needed some money.
I mean, I think it's just somebody who I assume he did drugs, but it's so wild. Like that pipeline of, I went from being a disciplined, dedicated Olympic level athlete to I work for the drug cartel.
Yeah. What a stark turn. What a change.
Jamie, do we have the video of that? Or does it not play?
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's playing. It says the content's protected, so I don't know why it would come on. Yeah.
Oh, maybe it's because you're in a different country.
Yeah,
maybe because like it'll play on my player.
Yeah.
But basically that's it. That's like that's the nuts and bolts of the story anyway.
Yeah,
but this is I'm sure we'll cover this again.
I want to stay up to
it's
date on
ongoing.
this. I want to find out when they find. We got to be there when they find this guy. We got to talk about it.
I mean, this is going to be a Netflix documentary series. I can already see the wheels turning here. This is going to turn into a Netflix crime documentary. But yeah, it's crazy. This man, he was an Olympic snowboarder for Canada. See, this is what happens. All you Canadians out there, this is what you know what it is.
All you extreme Canadians doing those X Games out there. You got to become drug kingpins.
I know exactly what it is. They're just exchanging one form of snow for another.
That's it. Busted.
Busted. Is it? Can any Canadians confirm this? You're just like, well,
Rob, Rob Graves can confirm.
You're like, well, winter snow.
Where do you
no
think
snow.
Rob? How do you think Rob affords all these hot tubs he's got?
Hot tubs full of drugs.
You be the judge.
You be the judge. Certified. We're gonna keep an eye on this story.
Yeah. Certified intrigued.
Certified intrigued. Well, I think that'll be the final story. Nathan has to.
I have
happy
to
anniversary
run.
again. Happy
Thank
anniversary
you.
again, Nathan.
I need to see my fiance for at least 15 minutes before she goes to bed and goes to work tomorrow.
Yes.
So need to do that.
Well, all right.
Thank
I
you.
think this will wrap up. This will wrap up this week's episode. Thank you, everybody, for the Ko-Fis. Thank you for the memberships. Thank you for the super chats. Very much appreciated. More Odd Boys on the way. We'll figure out that marathon and we'll post it on the Discord.
Yep. There'll be a 24-hour marathon soon. Every Friday we do this show. Please watch the clips and the videos if you haven't. There might be some stuff you haven't seen yet. We're loading up on the channel. Scroll through and check stuff out. Give thumbs and likes. It all helps. If you want to become a member, YouTube member, and or Ko-Fi direct donation member, top of the chat in the description. And the final thing I'll say is happy holidays, whatever you celebrate. Hopefully you're celebrating now or getting ready to. Christmas is coming. And I hope you're all having a good December. Thank you for partying with us. Thank you very much. And thank you to producer Jamie for making the show look like $1 million.
Thank you, Jamie. And thank you, everybody. Happy holidays. We'll see you very soon.
See you soon, everyone.